and welcome back to The Rising Dawn, The Raven's Favour. I'm R, your Dungeon Master for this evening. Are we ready to go?
Please.
Yes, please.
Are we ready?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was being a raven.
Let the adventure begin! We catch up with the Dawnbringers after a series of dreams filled with omens of a coming blood moon led the party to the opening of a portal to the plane of shadow on the southern shores of the Chased Lake. A heavily armoured figure emerged from within, cradling a small girl to his chest, who promptly disappeared as the light hit her, merging into something they later discovered was a soul shard gem housing her soul.
A child.
Fighting off a plague of undead creatures chasing the figure out of the portal, the party saved the man's life, only to discover in the moments after the fight that it was too late for him no matter what. With his last breaths, the man named himself as Peter Fulgrim, passing possession of the soul shard over to the group, and begging them to continue his quest to a place called Sable, in search of someone named Bishop. Their search led them to Sable Wharf, where a doctor was able to point them in the right direction, with a warning to be wary on the road. This warning proved correct when they found their way to a sunken town full of signs of sacrifice, odd puzzles, monsters, and a strange combination of symbols of the gods.
He could have been more specific, really.
It was his last breath!
No, we meant the doctor.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he has no excuse.
Be careful.
Of what?
Just fucking be careful, man. Just be careful. Like, everything.
Up mood.
That's just a warning in general.
Relatable content.
The Dawnbringers headed onwards, through a forest full of traps and mirrors hanging in the trees, until they came up outside a heavily defended palisade wall to a scene of a number of townsfolk holding off a young pale woman with various weaponry. She pleaded to come back inside to her father, until someone in clerical robes stepped up and ordered she be allowed through the gate. The townsfolk backed off, bizarrely so, and she stepped inside, only to flare up in an inferno of radiant energy, burn to a crisp, and drop dead to the ground. The gates were ordered shut and sealed, and her body to be carried away. We catch up with the party now, still hiding behind a bunch of trees in the forest outside of this wall, watching the smoke rise off her charred corpse. I don't really know what to think about that.
What just happened?
Don't know. She just sort of stepped inside the gate and...
More traps?
Do you remember all the way back in
In the mangrove swamps.
when I stepped on that symbol, that glyph? It was like that, but far worse.
Like a wall of it.
Can we sense any sort of arcane goings on?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no sensing about it. You definitely just watched something arcane go off.
But like with the wall or like...
Say there's a general aura of something arcane in the area. Those of you sort of greatly in tune with the weave of magic will feel just a general throb of it in the surrounding area.
So what now? Do we just ask to be let in, or...?
They don't seem very hospitable. Not at all, but I would guess we need to go in.
I guess. They said they were going to seal the gates for tonight. We can try.
Surely there's a guard or something. We can just check.
Yeah, can we see guards up on the palisade now that most people have gone?
As the townfolk disperse, you do see a few people milling around on the palisade wall. They don't look like guards. They all seem to be wearing clerical robes. All of them in white. And you see them sort of milling around the top of this wall. The only figures in white that you've seen, considering all the townsfolk were wearing black.
Listen, if... But you said the person, the cleric, had a symbol burned to
Yes,
avoid
it was
of the sun and
the
moon
sun
again.
and the moon.
Cassian will get out the holy symbol and be like, look, we have that holy symbol.
Maybe they'll
Maybe
let us
that's
in.
worth something.
Maybe.
And if we have to bluff, say we're on some sort of holy quest.
It could work. It's worth trying.
And what if that door gets us?
I don't know.
She said something along the lines of that girl no longer being one of them?
Mm.
Maybe it's something to do with that. Maybe a sort of mean no harm comes to you deal. I don't know.
I don't know enough about any of this warding magic stuff to even make a guess.
Well, if we get closer, perhaps someone, Sariel, you could study it while the rest of us try and do the talking.
Let's give it a go then.
Why not? I guess we shall approach the gate.
You make your way up towards the gate. You can almost smell it now, the scent of this charred corpse. There are a few people coming into this like wooden tunnel area behind the gate with a roll of cloth. And as you approach, they start covering the body with it and wrapping it around her.
Do we call out to them?
I don't know.
You seem to have, I don't know. You lot are more in tune with cities and towns than me.
This doesn't seem like any town I've ever been to. Hello? You see the people inside all sort of look up, startled and immediately wary to hear a voice outside the gate.
Greetings. He will show off the holy symbol.
Eyes narrow in suspicion. They look you over. You see there's two men back there who step forward in front of the body and just look over the party. Their eyes linger on Astra for a long time, and then on Sariel, even more suspiciously. What do you want?
Hopefully somewhere to sleep for the night.
You won't find that here.
Oh, I have not. I'm sure it's a nice town beyond the walls.
Who are you?
What did Dawn bring us? We're just questing.
Well, you won't find shelter here. Move along.
Well, we're needed inside.
Is that right?
Yes, it is the will of the gods.
This is Sable, isn't it?
Sort of turn away from you and mutter amongst themselves. The gate has been sealed for tonight. You have to come back in the morning.
The morning is fine. Please, we mean you no harm. We're simply here at the behest of the sun, the moon, the world itself.
Fine. In the morning. Sort of look up at the sky warily and then turn back to the body.
The ones we just spoke to, were they just regular townspeople?
Yeah. That none of the sort of clerically robed people are down here in the tunnel.
Maybe we speak to one of them.
Maybe.
These people don't seem to be in such a position of power as them.
Perhaps I just don't want to push our luck.
No. But also the sooner we can get in, the sooner we can get out. And it doesn't strike me as a place that I want to stay that long, actually.
Trying to get the attention of someone higher up.
Move along the wall a little bit, maybe
Moving along
from...
and peering. Hello?
You see a few heads sort of milling around, but no one really stops to the sound of your voice.
Greetings. We've come to understand that this gate is closed for the night, but might there be another way in?
You see one robed figure stop, sort of peer over the wall. If you keep moving around, we do have another gate.
And that one would be open?
Presumably.
Presumably.
And then you see one of the other robed figures sort of come up to this woman and be like, and sort of usher her along.
Well, let's try that.
Another try? I guess.
Sorry.
Okay, well, let us continue around the wall then.
Whatever direction that person indicated.
And they seemed more friendly than the regular town folk, so I suppose they're just nervous living in this place.
It's a local town for local people.
It does seem like a dangerous area.
What with monsters in the woods?
Are they monsters though? I mean,
If my dreams are to be believed, and so far they haven't been wrong.
I suppose.
I trust your visions.
Me too. Just if they were people before. That was his daughter, wasn't it?
I mean, we've come across a lot of things that look like people, Astra.
I know. I know.
Okay. The party has no choice but to keep making their way around the outside of the wall, sort of seeking out another gate, perhaps. You keep moving around and you realise this wall is pretty large. After some time, as you're walking, you just, out of the corner of your eye, away from the town, spot a forest camp in the trees. You see tents pitched and what looks like the remnants of a campfire, a figure sitting down alongside it.
Let's go say hi. Maybe they know how to get in. Or at least know what's going on.
Maybe.
And honestly, I feel like it might be safer to camp in numbers anyway, if we do have to stay outside.
True. Okay. You turn and you start heading away from the palisade walk towards this camp. It's a little way off. A couple of minutes walk. As you approach, you notice that the campfire is embering. Still a few wisps of smoke lifting off it. And the figure is sitting with their back to you. You approach a little closer and you realise the figure is just sitting there. They don't turn at the sound of your presence, nor do they seem to be doing anything. They're just sat on a log beside the campfire.
Hello.
As you squint to get a better look, something is off about them.
Of course.
Their body seems slightly slumped over, as if injured.
Like, take a wider
Yeah.
circle around to, like, stay equidistant but get a better viewpoint.
You move around the outskirts of the campfire, of the campsite, maybe staying a good sort of 40 feet away from it, try and get a closer look. And you realise the limbs just kind of hang in the figure's lap. And on closer inspection, you're not sure this person is alive.
Is there a tent pitched?
2, in fact.
2 tents pitched. Video game brain just like... That's bait.
Hello?
I don't think we're going to get a response.
No.
Get a little bit closer. You can move closer. Nothing happens. The figure doesn't move. No trap goes off. And you can approach the campsite very slowly to see that this figure has been propped up with a couple of sticks.
Okay.
The body is pale, greying even a little bit, and you realise as you get close enough, there's a stab wound in their throat. The body looks like it's been completely drained of blood. But by stab wound, like with a sharp blade.
How long does it look like it's been here?
Make a medicine check.
I'll assist you on that one.
2 13, so 16.
16. Maybe 2 days. The limbs don't move, rigor mortis is set in, and checking it over a little closer, like the tongue is bloated inside the mouth. The body's just completely drained dry. As you stand there looking at it, and then looking around, you just get the eerie feeling of eyes watching you from everywhere. You don't know whether it's just being at this campsite.
Is there anything in the tents?
Make an investigation check.
What doesn't sit right with me is the fact that if it's been here for a few days, why is the campfire only just going out?
22.
You can poke around inside the tents as Astra muses over this, and you find quite obviously traveller's gear. There's a couple of backpacks in there. There's torches, some rations, everything that you'd expect to be carrying on yourselves. There's a short sword, in fact, and all of it looks like it hasn't been touched for a couple of days.
Does his garb look similar to the, townsfolk?
Not at all.
He's a traveller.
Looks like he's wearing traveller's clothing.
He was just passing through.
I have the distinct feeling that someone wants this to be found and that we should back away.
Yeah. Okay.
Why else prop him up? Why else tend to the fire? You want someone to come have a look.
Let's go back to the walls.
Okay.
I'm gonna quickly scan. I'm gonna
Scran your wee man.
I'm gonna quickly scan the tree line and see
Okay.
if we can see anything.
Make a perception check.
18.
18. You look around through the tree line and first you're not sure you see anything. But then you swear you see something dart from one tree to the next. Something maybe about 5.5, 6 foot tall. Darts behind a tree. Something peeks its head out from behind the trunk and ducks away again.
We're not alone here.
Reassuring.
Back off.
Back to the walls.
Back to the walls.
And a little bit faster around the town.
Gonna just unprop the man
Okay.
so that if we ever go by this way again, it's been propped back up. We know.
Mm-hmm. Start making your way back towards the walls and keep moving around, sort of warily, keeping an eye on the forest now. So from somewhere ahead of you, you hear rustling, and then a figure bursting out from behind the trees, this time not as though attacking, as in panicked. You see a half-elf in more traveller's clothing, blood streaked down their face and dirt on their clothing, running towards you and seeing you, stopping and freezing as
Hello?
in panic. It's not safe. No, not safe.
We know, we're trying to get in.
No, don't go in there.
In the town?
Why not? Where are you running from? Are you alright?
It's just creatures in the woods. There's creatures in the woods.
Yes.
Do you want to stay with us?
I saw you and I came out because I wanted to warn you.
Is there something chasing you?
Not chasing me now. It was before.
Okay, just... I'll offer them some of my water.
Takes it, drinks it. You see dirt under their fingernails and maybe a bit of blood and sort of absolute fear running through their expression.
Hey. It's okay.
It's going to get dark soon and then it's going to get worse.
Okay. Let's try get in. Just stick
No,
around.
go inside that town. They're crazy. Please.
Stay with us, we'll keep you safe.
I think there's some caves nearby that we could hide in.
Do I believe? Yeah,
Do we
trust.
believe? Yeah.
You don't know this person at all, but there's tears in their eyes and fear in their expression.
Okay, if you can show us, we'll keep each other safe.
Okay.
What's your name?
Moira,
Hi. I'm Veron Astra.
it's nice to meet you.
You too.
We should move quickly, otherwise the sun's going to go down in maybe an hour. Maybe we have an hour.
Okay.
Let's go. We can walk and talk.
You start following this person who's jittery, even just at the sound of your feet in the leaves behind them. And they keep moving forwards. As you follow them through the trees, Sariel, with your passive perception, at some point you notice they're about to walk into another tripwire.
I'll grab the shoulder. Look, there. Just careful.
Steps over the tripwire.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's okay.
So what are you doing here?
we're just travelling through.
Is that your campsite back there?
And a gentleman that was there as well.
A friend of mine.
How many were you?
5.
Do you know where the others are?
I'm sorry.
Those monsters in the woods, the pale ones.
You've seen them.
Terrifying.
No.
What's wrong with the town?
I don't know, they're all Have you seen the scars on their faces and their weird worship? I think they kill people and they give them to the monsters.
Okay.
They locked us out. Did they lock you out?
Yes.
Well, they said we could come back in the morning.
You won't survive the night out here.
Well, we've survived stranger things.
Okay. We should be quiet. We can talk where it's safe, okay?
Okay.
They lead you further from the palisade wall. Slowly the trees start to thin a little and give way to various banks and large craggy rock formations. And then you're led into an open cave mouth which juts out of one such rock. Inside, the cave seems to have some crudely made defence out of more wooden poles and sort of old tattered rope strung together. And they gesture you inside. Okay, we're gonna be okay. Please just get in. It's dark in there, but should be okay.
We'll light the staff up.
You see they start stringing down this sort of rough, homemade gate. Okay.
Why were you out here?
Looking for food. Yeah.
Well, I've got food here. You can have some of mine.
Thank you.
We'll share our
Please, we
rations.
should get down to the camp. I don't know whether that will even hold. They sort of usher you ahead. You continue down the tunnel a little bit on a slight decline before you realise that this person is no longer following.
Son of a bitch.
Stop and glance back. They must be further up the tunnel still. And then you hear the sound of something heavy drop from the ceiling several feet behind you.
Whip round.
You see a huge, rounded piece of rock, about 10 foot in diameter, that starts rolling down the tunnel towards you.
We're getting Indiana Jones.
We're gonna get Indiana Jones! Run!
It's slow at first, lumbering, but after a few feet it starts to pick up. It's moving faster and faster.
Dashing.
Run.
It looks like it's travelling about 60 foot around.
Oh my god,
So I'd
dash,
like
dash,
you
dash.
to roll initiative.
Oh my god!
Oh no. Oh good.
Oh, great.
Astra.
9. B.O. for Boulder.
Astra at 9. Sariel. Oh, Cassian.
11.
Sariel.
Also 11.
Oh my
Are
god.
you dexier than I am?
I have a +2.
Yeah, you are.
Vanden. Luckily,
Boulder.
that was a 2.
Cassian before me. That's dexier than I am.
Dexia. Okay.
Sexy and dexy.
Hey!
At the sound of this starting to roll, Vanden just stares at the three of you and is like, just run. And you can just start pelting it down the tunnel. Moving at a speed of 60 feet per round, you start moving down. The ball continues to pick up speed. Make me an athletics check.
Oh, God.
Oh, I do have +4 in athletics.
Good for some.
It really is. Did you crit?
Yeah.
14.
8.
Crit! And that's a crit for Vanden as well.
Nice.
Okay. You pelt down. Cassian, you find the floor slippery under your feet as it starts the decline starts to get steeper, and you find yourself falling behind slightly. You're moving down a straight tunnel as Cassian slips back maybe 20 feet behind everyone else as you try not to fall over. You move down and the tunnel starts to open out into a larger cavern, but the path gets thinner into a thin stone bridge with drops on either side. Is anyone doing anything?
I wish I had Longstrider right now. God damn it.
So, sorry, ahead of us is the bridge, and
Yeah. And then there's like
paths around
chasms
the
to either
sides?
side. Just
How-
like straight drops.
Oh, okay, so not like you can't go around the
No.
side, basically. Just gotta go over
Say-
the bridge, I guess.
Vanden's gonna go straight for the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna make a dex check. Okay. You see him slipping on the bridge as he gets to it. It's clearly slick wet with water that's perhaps dropped down from the ceiling of the cavern. And he slips down, almost falls, and loses about 20 feet.
Oh, God.
Cassian,
just pelting for the bridge as well, from where he's fallen behind.
Make me a dex check.
8.
8. You move onto it and you find you have to slow. You can't dash anymore as you pick your way across this bridge.
Mhm.
Sariel.
Dashing as well, I guess.
Okay, make a dex check as you reach the bridge.
19.
19. Okay. You, just seeing this thing coming behind you, just dart through. You're so quick and dexterous about it, you slip past Vanden and Cassian and just run to the other side of the bridge. Astra.
Like dashing over the bridge, precipitating to the water to make it less slippy.
Okay. Make a dex check, add a d4.
Nice. That's 21.
21, okay. You can also slide right through. You dry up the path, and Vanden and Cassian are able to sort of get back to their feet. The ball.
The boulder.
The boulder.
Can the boulder stay on its feet? Is the question.
Okay. The boulder is now 10 feet behind Vanden and Cassian as they cross the bridge. You see another craggy doorway of stone at the other end, and the tunnel continues. You make your way through into this stone corridor, now with, I'm just going to move these, Sariel at the front so we know what's going on. Cassian, Vanden got the lowest dex. Sariel, you charge into this corridor. You look around yourself and you can see small sort of dents in the side of the walls. They look like maybe 15-foot intervals apart. You think possibly someone could hide in them, it could be safe, it's hard to judge. Or you can continue onward to try and get to the next sort of archway, essentially.
I'll yell behind me, duck into these dips in the wall! And I guess try and get a bit further ahead so that one of the others can get into one of the closer ones.
So there are 4 of them, 2 on the left and 2 on the right.
I guess I'll go into the furthest one, because I'm at the front.
Left or right?
Right.
Okay. You duck into it and you flatten yourself against the wall. Astra.
So this ball is now crossing this like little
Yes.
bridge.
It has essentially rolled over and you're getting to the start of the next corridor. Sariel's just yelled out to you to duck into these dips.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will run forward and go for the left-hand side at the far end.
Okay. Make me a dex check.
That's 15.
15. Okay. You step into it. The floor just drops away mechanically. And as a dex check, you manage to put your arms and feet on the walls and not drop into the pit below.
Just legs akimbo. Some of them are trapped. What? Just be careful when you step into them.
Cassian. This ball is 10 foot behind you. If you slowed one more time, it's going to hit you.
Get in the dip!
Yeah, but if I have to roll a dex check, I'm going to fail it.
You don't know that.
I think it would be really funny if you fail. It would be really funny, dice.
Oh, right. I see what you're doing. I'm just trying to think, like, force damage could push it backwards.
Vanden's behind you.
Possibly good.
Yeah, but he can still run.
We have to hit it.
It's a boulder.
Yeah.
It could work. Whatever you want to try. There's no right way to do this.
2 Eldritch Blasts. I would like to see if force damage
Okay.
could at least slow it down as I am running.
I would say roll an attack just to make sure that you don't natural 1.
Natural 2, so 9.
Still fine. Just to make sure you don't critically fail.
And an 18, so more.
Okay. You turn around and you let out 2 Eldritch Blasts towards this huge ball of stone. Roll damage.
You anger the boulder.
That was good. 17.
17. Okay. You see a massive crack splinter all the way through it. And it slows down to about half the speed it was rolling.
Nice. Good job.
That's what I wanted.
But keep moving. Keep moving.
But yeah, I'm using my movement to run.
Keep moving.
I say you run past the first 2 dips in the wall and end up in line with Astra, sort of legs akimbo in one side.
Just slow motion, like,
as I'm running past. Yeah.
And Sariel in the other, who's just stood there like, what?
I'm stuck.
Vanden will just sprint ahead as well. Having heard they're trapped, not wanting to take any chances with that. Okay, so Sariel and Astra, this now slowed ball just rolls straight past you, pursuing the others into the next space.
I missed them!
Sariel, back to the top of the round. Are you doing anything once this is passed?
How far ahead is it now?
It's maybe 20 feet ahead of you, like blocking the tunnel between you and your friends.
And still rolling.
Still rolling.
Gonna follow it!
Okay. Astra? You can step out.
Okay.
You can like push yourself back out.
My tail would push me forwards.
Yeah.
Okay, I will step out of trapped pit. Look down the pit.
You could just see metal spikes.
Oh, that's not pleasant. And then I will follow the boulder.
The boulder.
Cassian.
We're now pursuing the boulder.
You're now rolling after the boulder. Cassian, into the next area, you see another long stretch of tunnel. It's about 60 feet. And on the left and the right, you see two doors built into the stone.
Oh, God.
First of all, another Eldritch Blast. I just
Okay.
want to see if I can either destroy this or slow this to a halt.
Okay.
Well,
Roll
it
again,
is,
just to, yep.
it is still pursuing Vanden and I. Yeah, natural 3 and a natural 14.
Yep, they will both hit. No crit fails here.
16 points of damage.
16 points of damage. Okay. You hit it with 2 more Eldritch Blasts, and that crack that formed in it, it just explodes into 3 pieces. It stops and fills most of the tunnel.
Okay.
Okay!
We've got doors ahead. Just needs to climb over the rubble. Sorry.
It's okay.
As long as you're right.
Yeah, we're fine.
You okay?
Yeah.
Climb over the rubble.
Yeah. Make a dex check.
Christ.
Quit!
24.
Great. The two of you can pick your way up and slide through the gap at the top of the tunnel left by where it's cracked open. Slide down gently on the other side, uninjured.
You okay?
That was unexpected.
I'm gonna think twice about trusting anyone around here now.
Yes.
Yes.
Doesn't it feel like everyone's kind of out to get us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
2 doors, you said.
2 doors.
Thaumaturgy to see if they're open.
One of them slides open a little bit and stops. The other one doesn't open at all.
Okay, one of them's locked, this one isn't, but something just stopped it.
Well, worth a peek in the open one.
Carefully.
Carefully.
Okay. You creep up to it and you sort of peek through. The angle of such, you can't really see what's on the other side. It looks like there's a bunch of candles lit in some sort of cavernous space. But that's just about all you can see peeking through. When you try and push the door further, there's something very heavy blocking it on the other side.
Is there like more of a pathway beyond the doors, or does this end in just doors?
There's a one further tunnel. towards
There is
the
a
end.
tunnel, okay.
Can you see what's in there?
Bramble, would you just go have a look in there for me?
Okay.
Just let Bramble sneak through the gap.
Kiss and push.
Bramble sneaks through the space, and the change in light levels as you look through his eyes temporarily clouds your vision to enter. It's difficult to establish right away what you're looking at, but eventually you can tell that dozens and dozens of candles are positioned in this space at various angles and heights, creating peaks of candlelight rising up from the stony ground, red wax dripping sluggishly down the rocks to keep them upright. Down the rocks, keeping them upright. All melting together into one single unmoving waterfall from where they've clearly been burning for years. As Bramble sneaks further forward, you realise that these are not rocks the candles have been set onto.
Are they skulls?
They are skulls. Eyeless sockets stare gormlessly out at you from all directions, clumps of stringy hair and viscera clinging to the freshest of them and glinting in the dim light. The space is a catacomb of old skeletal body parts, cold, damp, eerie as Bramble flies through it, feeling as though every eye socket in the skull is watching you proceed. Behind you, Bramble can catch the glimpse of a huge wicker statue and another tunnel that you realise now must connect round to the one that you've just come through. Like, must connect if we go to the end of the hall.
Okay. I would like Astra's relaying this as as it's being seen. And what's blocking the door from opening?
The statue.
The statue, the wicker statue.
It looks like it's sat on a very large stone slab.
Statue of what?
Make a perception check if you want to try and discern this as Bramble's little eyes.
Perception with brambles.
He's got +3.
+3, so like 11.
11. It looks to be made of long, thin sticks woven together into the rough shape of a humanoid, wrapped around another statue, which looks to be made of stone, which is why it's so heavy. It's hard to make out what the original idol beneath was, but this wicker one is, although crude, unmistakably demonic, with horns and a semblance of wings.
Cousin.
Fuck you. Well, it seems to be some sort of demon made out of wicker attached to a stone statue. But it looks like the passage, if we go further down here, will connect into this room.
There's no one in there.
No one alive.
Grand.
Otherwise, there's tons of corpses that have been used as candle stands for quite a few years, from the looks of them.
Great. Well, I guess we should just...
Keep going and hope for the best.
The second door that was locked, first off, is there any traps on it? Like, if there are any
make an
wires?
investigation check.
18.
18. You pick around the outside of it, you can't find any indication of wires,
Okay.
or any
And
sort of trap whatsoever.
say it's locked, is there like a keyhole?
No keyhole. It's just closed.
Try and open it.
There's no handle or anything,
No
it's just sort
handle.
of like a stone door that you'd push.
Right. Okay.
Maybe we can get in there down at the bottom.
Maybe.
It seems like probably some sort of one-way mechanism if people are expected to be chased by a boulder down this tunnel.
Fun.
Well, that fucking boulder's dead now, so
Killed it,
You killed it very good.
thank you.
So I guess we keep going. Unless we can go back up the other way.
Maybe.
Kind of want to see what's at the end of this first.
You tentatively continue down the tunnel to the archway at the end.
Searching for more traps as we go.
Yeah. As you do, it gets thinner and thinner, and you realise it reaches a point where the stone ball wouldn't have been able to continue.
Okay.
And you sort of slide through the next bit of the passage, and come out into this room full of candles. It's a small-ish cavern, naturally formed, some stalactites on the ceiling, maybe about 20 foot across in each direction. And it's now dry and hot, standing in the space with these hundreds and hundreds of candles and these skulls fixed into the stone and this huge wicker effigy.
On this side, throwing up dancing lights. Again, using them the most ever in this adventure. Can we get a better look at what this wicker sculpture is and what it's on?
Indeed. You approach the wicker idol, and the first thing you notice now on this side is carved primitively into the stone base of the original statue are 3 haunting words. Orcus, devour us.
No!
Perchance. Does the figure that has been wickified look a bit like the weird idol that we found in the last chapter?
It's very crude, but yes.
Cool.
I mean, it's got the same body shape and it has wings.
Cool.
Looking behind it, you sort of try and pull bits of the wicker apart to look at the statue behind it. It's definitely a human figure. Anything other than that, make a religion check.
Why not? 10.
9.
I want to look at this Orcus thing,
Mhm.
wicker effigy,
This bloke.
this bloke, and just thaumaturgy campfire it.
Yeah, the flames from all the candles sort of pick up with your magic and take up the wicker, burning it all instantly.
That's better.
I take it within the game the name Orcus means like nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
But he said gay rights!
He did say gay rights.
Now that the wicker is burned away, you can just about make out an emblem of a sun on the chest of this stone figure.
Okay.
It suggests maybe it was once a statue of Hell.
Is there anything else in here? Should I go looky around?
In this space, nothing except another small craggy tunnel moving onwards at the other end.
Can I medicine check one of like the more fresher looking corpses?
It's just skulls. There's no other bones. But sure, make a medicine check if you want to.
I just want to know like if I can like discern if they were like flattened by a boulder, perchance.
Sure.
No, I can't. Just a 9. I rolled a 5.
If that's specifically what you're looking for,
Mhm.
you can at least discern that the skulls are not crushed.
They're not crushed.
Like, they haven't been flattened.
Okay.
That's not the method of death.
Well, I don't know how any of them died, but like, they're just heads. There's no bodies. And that's almost worse.
God, I know we needed it last time, but I really wish we still had that scroll that would let us talk to a corpse.
No. I don't think I ever want to see just a head chatting away.
Invaluable information, Astra.
Mm.
If we get access to something like that again, I'm putting it to use.
It's fine. Do you think it can still talk as we're going up the craggy passageway? Do you think they can still talk if they've got no lungs?
I think they just need a mouth.
Huh.
It just summons the spirit as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
You continue through. The next space you enter is smaller. The light's still bright, and the cavern nauseatingly dry from how the flames have burned up clean air. Together with wooden beams that seem to be holding up parts of the ceiling and what must be hundreds more skulls set into the wall. You're starting to feel claustrophobic moving through. Insects squirm through the cracks in and between the skulls, and the odd rat darts around your feet. But what draws your attention the most in here is the full bodies. Tied to posts within the chamber are a number of skeletons, chains wrapped around their putrid rib cages and holding them fast. Whoever these individuals were, they died a long, slow death here, doomed to never see the sunlight again. More skulls are stacked up against the walls. The catacomb has become a prison in here, where the dead incarcerate those condemned to the same agonizing end. Moving further inside, you glimpse another fresher body, hanging low from the ceiling by their wrists. The ropes that hold them aloft creak with the weight of their quarry. Although soaked through in blood and dirt, you can tell this figure wears the same basic travelling clothes as the bodies outside in the campsite.
How old does it look?
Make a medicine check.
Assisting.
19.
You find blue discoloration of the skin, bloodshot pinpricks in his face. The engorgement of blood in the limbs suggests that being strung up in this manner eventually suffocated this man. You note that the limbs he hangs from are broken, crushed somewhat. The body is no more than 2 days old.
This is recent.
This is awful.
Let's keep going. We can't do anything for him.
Just... I didn't... This place is horrifying.
Agreed.
Can't be anything worse inside those walls, right?
But someone's behind this.
Yeah.
Well, where did the person go that we were with?
It's a good question.
This cavern has 2 apparent exits. A thin tunnel across from the one you entered, and a wider dark passage to your left with fresher air spilling through it. The thinner of the two tunnels, just having a glance towards it, has been stuffed full of debris to block it. You see wood and rocks and old wilting plant life and fabric has all been used to stuff up and completely fill this tunnel.
Or they're blocking this one off for some reason.
To stop something from coming in or to stop something from going out?
I don't know and don't particularly want to know.
I don't think we can get any sort of information about who did this or what mindset they're in. Because I'm pretty horrified.
Other tunnel?
For sure.
You step through the short passage, out of the enclosed chamber, and you find yourself in a huge cavern now, maybe 150 feet or more in every direction, and plummeting into more than 100 foot of darkness below you. On the ceiling, maybe 40 foot up, massive, fragile-looking stalactites dangle over your heads. The odd stalagmite sits on the ground, reaching for the darkened sky. There are very few candles in here, making visibility harder, and the darkness seems to creep in on you from all sides, teasing at your peripheral like something is always watching you from just out of view. The thing you notice first is the thundering sound of water, where a waterfall plummets at the other end of the space off a huge stretch of solid rock, and you can vaguely make out the sight of several islands of rock sticking up precariously from the chasm, forming platforms over to the far end of the cave. Natural rock formations between the platforms make perilous bridges from one to another. On the centralmost platform, you can see the outline of something large and square chained to the floor. On the platform beside that, something sticks out over the edge into thin air. Just rough shapes in the darkness at such a distance.
Dancing lights.
The dancing lights float around you and give you 10 foot of visibility.
But send them towards the stuff on the platform so it's better illuminated to have a look.
Bramble will go with to have a closer gander.
Okay. Again, the dancing lights and Bramble disappear across halfway over this chasm. You see that the large square things chained down are cages chained to the floor. On the other platform, what's hanging off the edge are large wooden spikes sticking out into thin air, and you can see silhouettes of something wrapped up, long and large, hanging off them, swinging over the abyss. Glancing over into the darkness, the thought that a drop that deep could have formed in the earth beneath any way you walk makes your knees go weak with vertigo.
So how far between our end and the other end where the waterfall is?
150 feet.
Yes, we need to cross this.
Each bridge is about 35 foot long, each sort of jutting out thin bridge of stone between the larger platforms like islands.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady.
I can keep the areas dry. That gave me a bit more of a footfall last time.
Great. So there's one that goes to the one in the middle, and there's one that goes all the way straight across these thin bridges that are no more than 3 or 4 feet wide.
We can't see what's in the cages from here.
No.
Can Bramble see?
Make a perception check as Bramble.
Nope. It's a natural 1, so 4. Bramble gets spooked and comes back. Big one in the middle.
Is there another path from the big one in the middle leading onwards? Or?
Looks like there might be, yeah.
Probably worth having a look. Seeing what we're up against.
Okay. I'll go first so we can keep everything dry.
Good idea.
Take it slow.
Don't worry, I will be.
You start edging out onto this bridge, step at a time, prestidigitating the floor to dry it under every footprint, and you edge across. It doesn't wobble, it's steady beneath your feet. It's just your own knees that wobble, so you try not to look down into the blackness. You make it across to the central island with the cages.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm over. Dizzy, but over.
Sit down for a second. I'll go.
You two can creep across slowly, your knees wobbling, using your staff as sort of like a walking stick or a balance stick to get you across, and you two make it to the central island.
Okay.
So Vanden and Cassian, unless you're planning on doing something else, can also edge across.
Yeah, he'll just go last.
This large platform you step off onto almost gives you the feeling of falling the moment you step onto it. Perhaps it's just the vastness of the space, or the fact that you're so far from solid ground now. Or maybe it's the slight rubble and dirt beneath your feet here that gives you the sensation you might slip. Either way, you can't help your attention being drawn to the huge cages which balance precariously towards the edges. You realise now you're closer, you can see primitive mechanisms built around them for winching them up and down. And chains attached to the rear end of them are bolted into the floor as though to stop them plummeting all the way into the depths. There's nothing in them as you get closer. But the far end of them at the very edge of the chasm looks to be slick with something wet.
Is there any sign of any, like obviously the cage is empty, but is there any sign of anything having been in them? Or like wear and tear that's indicative of like claw marks or bite marks, etc.?
I won't make you roll for it. Sort of getting closer to the edge that's right at the edge of the chasm. You can see scratch marks on the outside.
The outside?
You can see bits of hair stuck on the inside. Maybe clumps of flesh. It looks like the wetness is blood.
And how big is each cage?
Maybe like 8 foot in one direction and 3 in the other.
So, they were feeding something. Do you think?
Down there.
Maybe.
That book that I found.
Surrendered to something here.
Maybe.
But this is fresh.
I mean, old Sable, new Sable.
You think this is connected to the town?
I don't know.
New town, old customs.
All I know is that if there's scratch marks on the outside, but blood and viscera on the inside.
Pulled from within.
Ugh.
Let's get out of here.
Okay.
As you walk along, you move on to the smaller platform that had the spikes sticking out of it. And you see a similar mechanism with a crank. Wet ropes run along the floor here. And over the edge of the platform, which must lead down to the wooden spikes that you can see from the entrance. Moments after you've stood on this platform, you could hear something from the way you came. The loud sound of stone scraping heavily on stone.
The boulders found us!
I killed the boulder. Its father's coming for me now.
Silence falls again after a few moments. You still and listen, but you hear nothing else.
Perhaps that other passageway.
A door. Well, that's pleasant and fun. Should we just keep trying to get out of here?
Mm-hmm. I don't really fancy going back.
Reach for, place a hand on Sariel's shoulder, just give her a squeeze.
Squeeze real.
Okay. You make your way to the edge of this platform, and what looked like a sturdy stone bridge from the other side of the cavern, you realise now is in 2 parts, about 30 feet apart. Disguised in the shadow of the cave before and now visible up close, a wooden bridge is raised nearly vertical on ropes. On the far side of the bridge away from you, there's an obvious lever cranked forwards to keep the bridge upright. This is about 20 foot down this long, flat stretch of rock where the waterfall is.
So sorry, crank is on our side or on the other side?
Other side.
Other side.
Bridge is up, gap in front of you, crank on the other side.
A misty step wouldn't catch that, would it?
It is 30 feet. If you had a running start.
We can try and get to the crank.
We could tie a rope around you, just in case, or will that not work?
I think that could just hinder you.
Okay.
It's okay, I'll go. Chill.
No,
Misty step. Misty step to the other side to where the crank is.
Make me a dex check.
Guidance.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Your misty step takes you just to the edge of the cliff on the other side, and your foot slips, but you push yourself forwards and stumble forwards onto your hands and knees.
Okay.
Thank the gods.
I think I just felt my heart fall out my arse.
Make a start on the crank.
As you do, are you trying to crank it slowly, or are you just releasing it?
Let's start with slowly.
Make me a strength check.
Oh no.
I'm going to keep my eyes behind us. I don't trust the door noise.
8.
8. Okay. You push it, determined to hold on to the crank lever and not let this thing drop fast. And the weight of the bridge is fine for the first couple of feet that it lowers. And then it just gets way too much for you. And it just speeds around until you have to let go of it. The bridge comes down with a clatter and breaks on impact. It just leaves 2 precarious wooden rails stretched out across the gap.
I'm sorry!
It's okay.
Not your fault.
Better than nothing.
It's a way across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll stay on this side and watch. I think in a pinch, I think I still have the energy to fly. If anybody falls, you know.
I'm going to pull out of the bag of holding the immovable rod
Okay.
and set to start walking across the same way that you did with your staff, with my hand on the button.
Okay. You can step out onto the wood and with the immovable rod just button on, move forwards, off, on. This way, holding onto it. Maybe a dex check at advantage.
That's a 21.
Perfect. It's a little wobbly. You try not to look down and you make your way across like this, just like grabbing handhold after handhold. You make it to the other side. Cassian?
This isn't going to be very elegant, but whatever. Just gets down on all fours
Okay.
and starts shimmying along.
Make me a dex check at advantage.
18.
18. Okay. It's definitely not elegant. You feel this wooden beam bowing underneath your whole body as you crawl across it.
But his ass does look great.
Sam is looking. Stay behind, he says. You manage to cross it like this to the side and like belly crawl your way back up onto the rock.
Help him up.
Thank you.
Good job. Vanden?
Yeah, I can do this.
I'm going to just hand Bramble the end of a rope to send across. Just
Thank you, Bramble.
Emotional support, Bramble.
if you tie it around your waist, then just we can hold on to this end. Tie it to the immovable rod.
He ties it around securely and he drives across. Oh yeah. That is a 24.
Nice.
No, that's strength. Hang on, dex. That's 20.
Thank God.
He just paces across it very carefully, 1 foot after the other. Seems to have some pretty good balance for heights. He crosses over, hops off.
Great.
Great. Okay.
Out.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry, you go.
there you go.
I'm gonna look back the way we came, see if there's anything following us after that noise we heard.
Make a perception check.
Dirty 20.
That's 20. You don't see anything across the other side of this huge cavern, but you do hear some faint noises from down in the darkness.
Okay, let's go. Potentially something down there.
And is this where we are? Does it lead straight out to the outside, or are we
No.
still not seeing? Okay.
You're not seeing any light yet.
Okay.
This huge space is dark and encroaching, and the ceiling is far lower than it was in the main part of the open cavern. The sight of anything living at all, though, brings you an odd sense of relief as you see moss and ferns growing in places, and you can see roots of trees breaking through the ceiling above you, reaching down to the water below. Some of them are almost long enough to touch from where you are standing. You notice the ceiling itself looks like it might collapse at any moment with all of these roots pushing through it, but it hangs there. And they hang over a large body of water, which thins into a river, and in turn that turns into the thunderous waterfall that you heard from the other side of the cavern. The water spills rapidly over the edge, plummeting down into the darkness. The pool itself looks deceptively still, but the river, some 20 foot across, is fast moving, with the odd bit of fauna or debris floating on the surface quickly disappearing over the edge. The water seems to shimmer with an unusual glistening tendency.
Before we move fully into the space, Cassian's just gonna kind of gesture his head back and be like, should we bring the bridge back up?
Yes.
If anyone is following.
Or do you want to just cut the ropes? It's useless anyway.
I mean,
This is true.
if we need to get back,
Mm,
just in case there's no way out at this end.
sure. But I'm just going to grab the crank and
What's
winch
left?
winch up these two wooden struts, which stand upright again. So now we just need to cross the river.
Are you getting a strange vibe from it as
I'm
well?
getting something from it.
Oh, I don't like it at all.
Should we
sort of kneel down and have a little look-see at it?
assist?
Thank you.
Make an arcana check.
25.
25.
Thank you for advantage.
You're not sure what it is about it. It's just that something about it seems... It doesn't feel like arcane magic. Something about it seems like divine magic.
Oh,
But you can't quite get your head around what it is.
okay. Something divine about this.
Scoop, drink. Might as well.
Doesn't mean it doesn't have gross things in it, but
You scoop it up, you take a drink, and if you want, you can immediately spend half your hit dice to regain any hit points you've lost.
Like, spend them or just use them?
Just use them.
So, with 7, that's 3.
3.
And not plus my con.
short rest juice.
3, 7. I'll take a nice little sip. Just sort of, refreshing, invigorating.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Get down and drink some.
Mm.
If you're feeling rough, have a drink.
I'm gonna fill a water skin with it too.
Sariel, you can spend half your hit dice and add it back to your hit point.
Keep drinking! D8, so 3 D8s. Oh!
You roll much better than I did.
Oh, that's 20 hit points back.
12.
Is that-
Nice.
Yeah. It's 14, yeah.
Not that roll for Vanden, he only lost 2, so I'm just going to give him 2 back.
He just has a nice, refreshing sip.
Yeah.
Feels a bit better.
Good.
I think that is actually the best water I've ever had.
Despite all of the moss floating in it. Maybe it just gives it flavour.
Oh, actually you're supposed to run water through moss because it actually cleans it.
So maybe it's just really, really clean.
It's just a really good moss.
Take a bit of moss. Stuff it in the pocket. Good moss.
Good
moss
moss.
pocket, moss pocket.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to fill my water skin with this as well. And put a bit of the nice moss in it, if I can.
Yeah, water. Gave it to that traitorous bait that we came across. So
Beta restraint.
traitorous trait.
The only thing you do notice as you're filling up your water skins is that the river is moving quite fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How wide is it to get
20
to the,
feet.
to the other side?
Well, we can all still breathe if anyone falls in.
Just don't want to be pulled into that waterfall.
If you tie a rope to me, I'm quite a strong swimmer.
Okay.
We'll try and get to the other side.
Okay.
We'll just hang on to it.
I mean, the last time we did that, you know, there was a whole hag thing going on.
Yes, but I wasn't the one swimming.
Wow, alright, fine. I'll give you a nudge and give you guidance at the same time.
Vanden will come up and do a very tight sailing knot.
Feels corseted. And yeah, he will dive in and...
Okay, make a dexterity saving throw as you dive into the water.
with guidance?
If you want to add
Oh,
it, you don't
that
have
won't
to.
matter. That's a nat one.
Yeah, like that's a nat one.
Immediately, the flow of the water takes hold of Cassian, and everybody has to grab onto the rope as it pushes him towards the edge of the waterfall.
He's just going to start Scrabble swimming as best he
I'm
can.
gonna pull him in.
Okay,
He does have a swimming speed.
so make an athletics check.
The fact that Cassian has a swimming speed really gets me.
But make it advantage because you have a swimming speed.
Thank you. 16, and then I will add my guidance to that, because why not? 17.
17. Okay. You get across to the other side, just at the edge, near the waterfall, scrabble up onto the rocks, and claw your way out onto the dry land.
You okay?
Yes. Strong current.
Hideous. Hated that.
Maybe if we start further up.
Oh, is there anything that it can be tied to on this side?
There are some stalagmites, but
I mean,
you don't know how strong they are.
I mean, we could use the immovable rod and then Bramble can release it at the end when we're done.
Tied onto this side, you mean? Yeah.
Like, so we would go further up.
Or throw it onto this side and it can just be a tethered point to pull towards.
That works.
Okay.
Hang on. Then we'll tie it onto this end of the rope
Yeah, then you
and let
pull
you
it
pull it
across.
across.
Yeah.
And then fix it at the other side.
Yeah. Well, fix it at the other side. Make sure it's nice and secure somewhere high up so that even if someone fell like a full length of it, they wouldn't hit the waterfall.
Yeah.
And then throw the
And
end of the
then we'll
rope
grab
back
the other
over.
side and pull that tight, wrap it around his waist. Okay?
One by one.
Astra?
Sure. Why not? I've always wanted to do this.
Hang on. We have another length of rope. Vanden's going to tie it around your waist over this one. Like a harness, essentially. So even if you fall, you're not letting go of the rope. Then you can just sort of slide across with it like that.
Zip line. Yay!
Astra zip line.
And say it's a struggle, but you get across to the other side.
Oh my god, thank god.
And you can fly the rope back with Bramble.
Yeah.
Lash it onto Sariel instead.
Make my way across.
And Vanden's like, okay, I'm just gonna run and jump. As
Tie
far
it
as I
around
can
yourself.
first. Yes, obviously.
Please.
We'll pull you in as fast as we can.
Lashes it around himself and he's just like,
You've beaten worse than this, Vanden Doagen for.
it's just a river.
It's just a river.
And I can fly. And he's gonna run and jump. He jumps about 5 foot across it before he splashes into the water. And the three of you can just haul him across the other side. He crawls down to the land and is like,
You're okay.
Good job. Do you want me to dry you off? Prestidigitate.
okay.
You know I'm never going to say no. Unless I'm feeling spiteful for some reason.
Never say no for a cheeky prestidigitate.
It's our dry cleaning service.
Astra's dry cleaning service. Okay. At the far end of this large space, there's a thin tunnel leading towards the smell of fresh air. As you cross, it gets fresher and fresher as you move towards it. This cramped tunnel, though, has many wooden beams holding up the ceiling precariously, more skulls studded around the ground like an awful pathway. They are interspersed so closely that you have to pick and weave around them. What's your marching order?
I'll go in the front again.
I'll take the rear again.
Okay.
Sandwich the Sariel.
Astra,
Hola.
as you're walking, your foot catches and you think it's just on a stone at first. But it's a tripwire. The tripwire pulls 2 of the beams inwards to collapse them. Oh god. Can everybody make me a dex save?
Oh god. 15.
23.
17.
Okay. You all made it, Vanden did not.
Oh no.
But everyone takes half damage anyway. Casual half damage. So that's 12, 21. So you will take 10. Vanden will take 21 points of bludgeoning damage as the tunnel just straight up collapses down. I put this in my notes, so I'm going to obey it. Vanden lets out a scream of pain as part of the stone collapses on one of his arms.
Oh god!
And traps him there.
Vanden!
I'm okay.
Don't move.
I was right behind him, so I'll scrabble towards him.
Where the stone has fallen to the floor, what remains of the wooden struts has sort of formed a crawl space forwards. Vanden's arm is still trapped under some of the stone ceiling.
Okay, I'm gonna try and untrap his arm. Like carefully, like looking around at the structural sort of integrity of it around him.
Make a strength check.
God. 11.
11. You can kind of push the stones off one by one. You see a large deep gash down his forearm where it's been crushed, and it's already blooming with fresh bruises. As he pulls it away from underneath the rocks, more of them collapse down a little, and he's like,
It's alright, we'll see to that as soon as we're out.
yeah.
Am I trapped on this side or the other side now?
You will have been trapped a little further forward. Your dex check has got you down to the floor. You're in like this tunnel made by the fallen struts. And you're ahead of us. You can't see what's happening behind you.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Okay.
Try and clear the path for us as you go.
Sure. Astra will start like crawling forward and like moving rocks out of the way.
As you do, tiny bits of debris fall from the wreckage above you, like the sound of someone sprinkling gravel. Like a constant warning that it might collapse further and completely crush you. But you keep moving. As you do, you can see the faces of these old skulls all around you in the rock. You have to drag yourself past them on your belly. About halfway, there's a piece of broken beam stuck in the tunnel ahead of you. Make me a strength check if you want to try and move it.
3.
3. Okay. On your first try, you try and lift it up. More debris drops down into your eyes. You feel something running past you, and then you feel the sensation of a rat wriggling past your body,
Can you not?
crushed against the stone.
I'm just gonna like scooch a little bit, like, come on then, get out!
Cassian at the back in the absolute pitch black, not being able to hear anything apart from "Get out!"
Do I try again?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna like huff, huff, guidance myself. Like huff, puff, huff, puff, we can do this. We can't do this. 6.
6.
It's a bit more.
Do this a bit better than previously.
You push it again. Another rock dislodges. I'm going to take 2 more points of bludgeoning damage as it
Okay.
sort of falls down onto your back.
Shame.
Goodbye, nice.
Come on, Astra. I believe in you.
Guidance again. We'll be fine, I promise. 19.
19. Okay. This time you lift and push the piece of broken beam out of the way. It just clatters to the ground, and you still... Nothing else falls. You keep crawling. Finally, the tunnel leads down to a wider space and you can crawl out and stand up. You find yourself in one final chamber. The others, you can kind of...
I will get
stoop
down and like help
them
people out.
Kind of gets up, cradling his arm.
Come here, let me put... Like, just touch the arm and cast healing, cure wounds on him.
Okay.
It's only level 1, but it's all I've got right now. Oh, God, that looks nasty. 5, 6, 8 hit points.
Okay.
Is there like a salvageable piece of wood from the collapsed tunnel that we could like use as a splint for his arm or
So you
something?
can find one.
Yeah, Cassian will break off a piece of wood and just say, anyone got bandages?
You did take that
Healer's
healer's
kit.
kit.
And offer for Vanden to lay out his arm.
You'll lay it down on the wood.
Make sure that the splinters aren't just getting into him.
Yeah.
Just wrap him up.
I'll use the bandages, or some of the bandages from the healer's kit.
Let's say that's one use of the healer's kit. There's still 4 more.
Okay.
And you can splint it up with the cure wounds as well. The pain has subsided somewhat. Okay, I'll be okay. Thanks.
Sorry about that. I need
It's
to be more
okay.
careful.
I think we just need to keep our wits about us and expect everything to be trapped in this area.
Seems likely.
Eyes in all directions, I suppose.
Right, let's keep going ahead. Don't think we're out of the woods yet. Well, out of the caves, into the woods.
This final chamber has a passage to the right end of the room, which is stuffed full of debris and wood, cloth. You realise must be the blockade leading through from the previous room.
Son of a bitch.
And no other exit is immediately apparent, but there is a light breeze in here. A musty smell lingers in the space. Straw and other plant material and what looks like a very old rotting bedroll are stacked in one corner with some ratty threadbare sheets. A few open crates store old food, miscellaneous dried and off-smelling meats with the odd wrinkled fruit and the odd piece of adventurer's gear. More lit candles fill the space, flames flickering with a slight wind coming through the far wall.
Following the smell and the feeling of wind, is there any sort of, crack or switch or...
What you notice is a tapestry hanging up on the wall, bloodied, that depicts an effigy of Pelor, although it's been desecrated with blood to form the same demonic figure as the statue in the first area, giving the Morning Lord skeletal wings and horns. You tug it away, and you immediately find a small wooden hatch. It's square, a few feet across, and only latched with a simple hook that could easily be undone.
I'm really sorry, my brain was just sort of small wooden hat.
You go with your tiny cloak.
For Bramble.
Just this huge tapestry, like, small wooden hat.
Okay. Gonna check and see if there's any tripwires or anything in it first.
Make an investigation check.
14?
14. Okay. You check around it, you find nothing of the sort, and you are easily able to flick open the latch. You wait. Nothing happens. You lift it very slightly, and thank God nothing happens. Behind it, you see another crawl space. Beyond that, it's slicked with blood, and it seems to lead upwards, like a chute towards the surface. You can see the slightest shining of light somewhere at the top.
Okay. Almost out. I'll go first again.
Should be night by the time we get out.
Or at least sunset.
Sunset. I do feel like whatever that misleading person was saying about the nighttime being more dangerous is probably true. So...
Should we stay in here for the night?
Well,
I don't want to do that.
Okay, let me just head on through then.
But I just mean to... When we get out, we're not really out.
No.
Be careful when you reach the top, okay?
Will do. Right, Astra will hunker on down and start crawling through, and before they get to the blood, they're gonna cast they're gonna prestidigitate this whole time. We're like, no blood, not on me.
And sort of lift it up and disperse it into the air as you go.
No, we're not dealing with this today, bestie.
Vanden will crawl up next with his splintered arm sort of held to himself as he shuffles up the small space. It's claustrophobic. You can feel your shoulders pressing against the walls. Is Cassian taking the rear?
Cassian always takes the rear.
Sariel?
She'll take a minute before she goes in.
Come on, one more.
One more, Sariel.
She'll force herself in.
Force yourself in. Luckily your small frame makes it easier to move through the space and it's not pressing in on every side. Cassian? You slide your body in and start crawling up this space. And after a moment, something really does grab your ankle. You feel a hand latch around your ankle at the bottom of the tunnel. You glance down and you see that same person who led you inside here, now with blood smeared over their mouth and a maniacal look in their eyes, starts clawing at your limbs as they try and pull you down.
How much space do I have to, look around?
Maybe, a foot and a half.
I just mean, do I have line of sight?
Yes.
Haha. Can you make a constitution saving throw for me, please?
11.
Fail.
Sick.
She takes 11 points of poison damage as Cassian just aims a poison spray right at her eyes.
You see Moira, if that was her name, just still. Her nails rake down your ankle. And she falls to the floor. You hit the hatch slam closes. Her body slumps out.
You alright?
Yes, give me a moment. Am I able to, like, kick the hatch back open?
Yeah, you can slide down
And
a
just
bit.
slide back down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want
Double tap.
to look over her corpse, make sure she's dead, and see if she's got anything fun on her.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Just calling us up as I'm doing it. It's our host. She caught up with us.
Sarah's gonna slide down to join him.
Crit 22.
Nice. You you check the body over, and you see that the travelling clothes are actually too big for her body. Clearly stolen off another body and put on. You find a couple of vials. One is what looks like a potion of healing, and the other looks like it just has blood in it.
Okay.
There's some mysterious jerky in another pocket.
Oh, I don't like mysterious jerky. Why did you say that? Those words.
And Moira is most definitely dead.
Okay. Just
Moira-
one little puff of poison, and that was all it took.
Moira
Regular
is
people
now
have 9 hit points.
mysterious jerky.
Moira is mysterious jerky now, yes.
Not yet. She could be.
Healing potion then.
It appears to be a healing potion. I don't
does.
trust like that.
Blood bottle though. It's a good distraction. For creatures that want blood. I suppose.
Well, I'm not going to think to take the blood before. I'm going to take the dubious looking potion.
Okay.
And if you would like the blood bottle.
We'll take the blood vial.
Nice. Okay. With that, you can claw your way back into the tunnel.
Is that a regular potion of healing? Or do I need to?
You don't know?
Oh my god.
I'll identify that later.
Can I take a quick look at it, seeing as I make these?
Make a Arcana check.
15.
Looks like a potion of healing.
Oh my god.
Seems to look just like the ones you make.
Looks like it, but doesn't have a proper look.
We did just pull it off a crazy demon worshipper.
As you stand there, you hear from the other side of the collapsed tunnel just scratching sounds. Curious scratching sounds, like something's figuring out how it might get through.
Oh no.
Let's move.
Let's go. Yes.
Okay. You push your way back into the tunnel. You crawl up towards the light, your body scraping and catching on the rock around you, biting at your skin, tearing your clothes. You're sure you're going to be filthy with grime and blood and dirty water that seems to trickle over everything underground. But the thinnest slice of light ahead of you spurs you forwards. As you reach it, you find another simple hatch, unlocked and slightly ajar. It opens easily when you push it, and you can haul yourselves out onto the ground, falling back into the foliage of grass and ferns and staring up at the deep oranges and reds of the sunset sky, breathing in fresh air and feeling the chill of the wind on your faces. The adrenaline seeps out of you slowly, leaving you freezing and trembling.
I hate being underground. You did great though.
You really did.
Everyone did.
Okay.
You guys were in there for a while.
She won't be luring anyone else down there.
That's good.
Unless she has friends.
Is there, now that we're out in the open, is there any sign of the palisade wall?
There is indeed. Looking around, you are somewhere outside of the Sable palisade, in a forest thick with ferns to waist height. It's maybe like 100 foot off from you, and you see a stream of people dressed in black who seem to be entering Sable through another gate, not unlike the first. They're carrying tools for farming and hunting and fishing, many of them carrying crops or their spoils from the day. They stream towards the gate in a single-person queue. And at the front, you can see 2 similarly dressed female figures to the ones you saw walking around the wall, each with a white and gold robe and ornate golden jewellery. They seem to each have a simple staff, and they're watching everybody pass by, one by one, stepping through the gates.
Do you think we can get in if we clean ourselves off very quickly?
Yes. I'm going to prestidigitate all of us.
I'm going to cast Disguise Self to just look like a shiny new version of myself anyway.
Okay.
Because that can only go so far.
You manage to tidy yourselves up a bit as best you can. Cassian, your disguise makes you look pristine again. The others can sort of comb their hair out with their fingers and scrub their faces of dirt. And are you approaching?
Guess we can fall in step.
You fall in line with the other people moving in towards the town. People sort of look around at you, confused and concerned, but no one says anything as they just march forward.
Good.
As the rays of the sun's light dip lower and lower and it gets darker. As you approach the front, you see these two robed figures are very, very carefully and warily watching you, particularly Astra and Sariel. One of them looks between you. State your business here?
We're seeking a bishop.
They look a little confused at you saying that. We will not prevent you from entering Sable.
Thank you.
But to do so, you must each pass over our ward to prove your purity.
What does that mean?
Simply step through the tunnel, and the town will decide whether you're allowed inside.
What happened to that girl earlier?
They decided she wasn't allowed inside.
Well, we have no ill will, so all should be well.
Step forward.
Take a breath as you step under the gate, waiting to see if anything happens. You pass through fine, although you see that Vanden just winces in pain slightly. Nothing happens.
Shooting glance.
You look at him slightly confused, as do these two clerics.
He's hurt his arm when we were travelling.
Right.
I don't suppose you can help?
Possibly so. We have to advise you, upon entering Sable, that you're now under Sable's rules and jurisdiction, and expected to obey Sable's way of life. Do you agree to this?
What are the rules?
I'd like to hear the terms and conditions.
Firstly, colourful clothing is heavily frowned upon within Sable, and the wearing of white is disallowed without the permission of the Abbey. The other one looks you over judgingly at your colourful outfits. If you're in need of something a little less gaudy and more respectable, you can try Wardwell & Sons in the centre of town. Other than that, keep to yourselves. Don't speak ill of the Radiant Ones. And there won't be any problems.
Okie dokie.
There won't be any problems, it's fine.
Is there like an inn that we can stay in for the night?
I'm afraid we don't have accommodation here.
Right.
Would it be frowned upon to make camp somewhere where there was space?
I suppose you could try at the Abbey.
Perfect.
Enjoy your stay.
Have a good evening.
Still watching you, curious and suspicious, as you pass through the dark tunnel into the town of Sable at last.
We got through, motherfuckers.
Kinda.
Beyond the gates is a gravel path, littered with golden fallen leaves, winding through the brush towards a number of bleak, wary, black clapboard houses. Their exteriors are weather-worn, the tiled roofs are stained with age, each sporting small sets of 3 windows latticed with iron crisscrosses. Beyond the glass, you see more than one figure now staring out at you blankly from pools of blackness beyond. The houses are set a little way apart from each other, with no real markers to separate land belonging to each one. The only fences are those of animal pens situated back off the path, some containing a single goat or a wary donkey.
Very suspicious donkey.
No!
You said it.
A weary donkey. The odd chicken wanders around freely, pecking at the weeds in the grass. In the centre of these buildings, further up the path, you can see a communal well and a thick square post about 6 foot tall. From the facades of the buildings and the overgrown plants and untended grass, the lack of any ornateness suggests to you that this is not a place of prosperity. The residents here must live very modestly, with little income from anywhere else in the area, if any. A small number of people wander between the buildings, all looking busy with work or returning to their homes from outside, as those who enter the gates ahead of you seem to do. You can't help but notice that all of them are wearing black. But on top of that, the style of dress in Sable is not one that you've seen anywhere else in your travels, particularly given the fact that besides the ornately robed figures at the gates, everybody here seems to dress almost exactly the same. The men grow their hair longer, about to their shoulders, and wear black doublets and breeches and stockings topped with garters to keep them up. Black ruffs around their necks and cuffs at the end of their sleeves break up the monotony of simplicity, and you see several wearing wide-brimmed felt hats atop their heads. The women are even more simply dressed, with basic shift dresses and petticoats that look equally as drab as the men of the town, with practical aprons tied around their waists and black cloth caps keeping their hair out of view. Many of the women in the town seem to be older, a few with the same sun and moon scars on their forehead, although they do not wear the ornate robes. The style of dress seems to dedicate itself to the two most important aspects of life here, work and worship. As you move into the heart of the town, you can't help noticing the suspicious and distrusting looks that come from every direction. Vanden still clutching his arm to his chest and looking more weary by the step.
You're alright. Something happened when you passed through.
My head aches. It's not particularly comfortable, but I can deal with it.
Sarah will touch a hand to his shoulder and cast Cure Wounds.
You can cast it.
6 points of healing.
Other than his injured arm, however, he doesn't seem to be particularly injured. You feel the magic take and eases up the pain of his arm again until he can drop it down to his side. But as for his head, you can see that he's still squinting slightly.
Well, we'll try and get this over with as soon as we can.
This is definitely the place that I dreamed about.
Recognise the streets or like where we'd need to go?
Not a particular location. I mean, I told you I was not myself when I was dreaming about this place.
Points up at a raven. That's me.
That's me.
Is there like an obvious way to the abbey? Like, can we see it in the distance or?
Beyond the trees, you can catch the first glimpses of a huge structure with two spires you immediately recognise as what you could see the top sort of right back down at the wharf. Each spire is topped with a golden emblem, one of a sun and another of a moon. The building looms on the horizon of the odd dreary town, a house of worship, larger even than the cathedral in Shadeborn, that is just as much a castle as it is a holy building.
Woke me up at 6 a.m. just to tell me that she doesn't love me anymore. I said, Let's go to the gym. I don't understand why you're being so hateful.
Larger even than the cathedral in Shadeborn, that is just as much a castle as it is a holy building.
Jeez.
That looks to be quite a way off through the trees still. And as for the town itself, these houses are just sort of randomly scattered around. Some of them look larger, maybe businesses. There are still some people out and about. The sun is going down, but as it's autumn, it's still pretty early. Maybe 5:30, coming on 6.
Just ducking into an alleyway or somewhere between houses. Cassian's just going to recast disguise self, but now he's just wearing all black and has sleeves.
Okay. Good for you, but the rest of us are kind of screwed here.
Well, they said there was that shop. So if you want to get dressed in the local fashions...
Not particularly. We're only going to be here at night. Hopefully.
I'm
Anyone-
just wary about the... If we want to stay in the Abbey, that they wouldn't even let us in if we're not dressed appropriately.
It's true.
Maybe they can do rentals.
Ash is going to just tuck his cape back into the jacket, 'cause his outfit's pure black apart from
Yeah.
the cape.
Yeah, you can sort of tuck it inside the other parts of your outfit until the sleeves are completely gone. Like the collar turned down. It's a little bit lumpy, but at least you're wearing black.
Oh, it's lumpy.
Not a great silhouette.
Oh, fine. Just takes the shirt, takes the jacket off, takes the cape off, puts the jacket back on. It's all black.
Cassian will give you his big navy blue shawl that he had in Balatha and stuff, just so that you can wrap around the white parts of your outfit just in case.
That's something. Thank you.
Okay.
To the dress shop, I suppose.
We should ask around about this
Bishop
person. Okay. I guess let's just look around.
I guess looking for people who look like they won't just run away from us.
And shops that may have a shirt on the a symbol.
Just a hanging sign outside with a picture of a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Or a thread and needle.
Okay, you start wandering around the town, sort of looking out at these different buildings. Even the ones that you determined might be shops are this sort of plain black clapboard with no signs, and you get the impression that the people of Sable don't need a sign to navigate their way around this very small town.
Are there children?
You do in fact pass 3 young girls.
Thank God. Okay, as long as there's children, it's not just this creepy adult place that...
None of them are older than maybe 6 or 7. They wear tiny aprons, as if to mimic their mothers.
That's so cute.
And have their hair hidden under little cloth caps.
Oh my God. Tiny.
They throw small pebbles onto a configuration of squares scratched into the dirt, taking turns to hop back and forth along the route. As each child hops, the others sing a nursery rhyme.
No.
Their high-pitched voices and the nature of the words seeping into your bones.
Okay.
It's raining, it's pouring, the evil queen is calling.
Oh God.
She wants you next and she'll bite your neck and you'll turn to dust in the morning. They repeat this verse, sing-songing with joy as they hop back and forth across the squares.
Who's the evil queen?
They look up at you. You see all of them take in the sight of you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your song.
Sort of lean to each other and like child whispering to each other's ears, and then nod, and then just run.
Okay, sorry. Not a very pleasant song.
No. Very welcoming people. Mm.
They're just sticking to themselves. It's what they know.
I get the feeling they're probably not used to people who look like you, Astra.
That's true. Everyone you have seen around is human, or maybe the faintest point to their ears, like a half-elf several generations down.
Don't understand why they're giving Sariel funny looks, though.
The hair?
Maybe?
White hair. The creatures outside had white hair.
It's true. Oh, you do have that hair dye dust.
No.
Sorry. The way that you said that.
No! Like they've had this conversation 100 times. Vanden, no. We're not doing
again.
the hair dye dust again.
Absolutely not. I'd rather die.
Sadine gave me this hair!
As you move through the town, you see a flock of ravens sitting in one of the trees.
It's Vanden.
That's Vanden. You're right, that's me. They don't do anything, they just sit there and watch you and watch other people in the streets. As you're walking past, a man with a flock of sheep comes down the road. You can see they're being chased by a lively and excitable sheepdog. The farmer's sort of jogging behind, shouting at the dog to stop as these sheep sort of barrel down the main street.
God.
Do you let them pass?
Guess
Yeah.
we'll try and stop.
Yeah, just
Try and fence them in.
You sort of step out into the road and try and put your arms out to stop the sheep. You see the sheep sort of come to a slow and a stop, and the dog's still jumping around barking, and the man is just like, "Stupid, stupid dog!" Smacks it with his stick.
Hey!
Just stay away from my livestock.
we were trying to help you. You didn't need to hit the poor thing like that.
Spits on the ground. Starts ushering the sheep onwards.
Have a good night.
They carry on past you. Eventually you make it through the town to Wardwell and Sons. It's painted in black on the outside of the shop.
It's almost like he doesn't want us to see it.
It's a far larger building than most in the centre of the village. From the look of things, just peering through the window, it looks like a general store. It has a separate annex and larger windows, and the windows are stocked with an admittedly scarce selection of goods. The sign above the door reads Wardwell and Sons General Store. You push inside and a little bell rings above the door. Inside the shop is a cacophony of simplistic looking tables with a huge amount of variety in the stock, although nothing immediately grabs you as interesting. You see bags of flour and maize, bread and oil, bundles of autumnal vegetables, tools for gardening, blades for saws, everything the everyday worker could need in a place like this.
Great.
Parchment and ink, boots, wine, clothing. Behind the counter is an older woman with one eye, the other one heavily scarred, her smile crooked where another scar has healed poorly around her mouth. She watches you with distaste from behind the counter, and you note her remaining eye is greying a little.
Hello.
Can I help you?
I'm looking to buy some clothes if you have any available.
Quite right too. She gestures over to the rack. Gristles. Thank you. And then we'll go over towards the rack and be like,
Is it more of the same?
very much so. Everything's black and very simple. Not put together in the fashion with the ruffs and the hats and such. You can probably pick out like a large black shirt and a skirt that you think you could maybe get over your outfit.
There's no hats at all.
There are hats,
Oh, thank
but
God.
I'm just saying that you don't have to put the whole outfit together.
Yeah, but I want a hat.
So horns.
Oh, I've got horns.
You can make horn holes.
Then you're not getting your deposit back on that hat.
No, just pick up the hat. Astra looks at the hat and is like, puts it back. There's no horn holes.
This one blinding eye. It's like fixated on you.
How much?
Silver per piece.
Right.
My dear lady, you wouldn't happen to know someone by the name of Bishop in this town?
She squints a little. Bishop. Haven't heard that name for a while.
Are they still around?
You must be talking about Corvus Bishop. Used to work at the botanist shop. Long
Used
dead.
to. Long dead?
How long?
A few years. He
No,
was an odd man anyway.
no children?
No children.
Okay.
Well, in what way was he an odd man?
Not very pious. Serves him right what came to him.
What came to him?
The Bloodlust.
The who?
We're quite new to the area.
I can tell. The Bloodlust.
So-
Blood-sucking creatures in the woods.
The ones with the sharp teeth.
Yes.
Okay. They encroach upon your town often?
She sort of makes a face like she wants to spit, but she's not going to do it on the ground in her own shop.
Okay.
Nasty.
Been terrorising Sable for as long as Sable's been here.
Since it was in the old position as well.
She shrugs a little. She looks like she's not particularly interested in having this conversation with you.
You get anything, Vanden?
Sure. He'll just put like a black shirt on the table and give her a silver piece. She looks at the coin really curiously.
Something wrong?
Bites it. And then tucks it away under the desk. Fine.
Will this be okay? What I'm wearing?
It's black.
Great.
Not particularly humble.
Is there a black dress on the rail at all?
Yeah, just one of these simple black shift dresses that all the women seem to be wearing.
Sort of whisper to Cassian. I mean, I have no fashion taste and I know this looks awful.
I'm sure it would look great on you, though. You'd make anything work, Sariel.
Don't know about this. Hand it to her and give her a silver as well.
Again, she looks at the coin like very curiously and tucks it away.
You have different coins here?
Indeed.
May I see? Please.
She digs out a silver from underneath the table, slides it across the counter, and you see it's looks like an old mint coin from a couple of 100 years ago. On the back of it is the profile of a man with a sun and moon etched into his forehead.
Is someone from your town's history?
The founder or?
Founder of the Abbey.
Was there a name on there? Like?
No.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your business.
No problem.
I guess if there's a place to change, we'll go change into this awful
Probably like a
dress.
little curtain at the back. Manny will do the same, go out there and like shrug off his coat, like custom made coat, and just put this big baggy black shirt over the rest of his outfit.
Should have bought like 5 shirts, wings.
Oops.
Doesn't really want to take the armour off, so he just puts it over the armour itself.
Chili on his nips.
As the two of you wait for these two to change, this woman just stares at you idly.
So what's your name, sorry?
Grace.
It's nice to meet you, Grace.
Mm,
I'm Benedict Astra.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get many like him around here, do you?
Surprisingly not.
It's not that surprising.
He's very pretty and very kind.
I see.
Thank you for the information, by the way. It's really helpful. Like I say, we're new, so anything.
Why are you looking for Bishop?
Oh, an old friend of Bishop's, I think, asked us to find him.
I see.
Is there anyone that was friends with him that's still around, or?
Try the botanists.
The botanists. Thank you. Whereabouts is that?
Sort of just points towards the window.
Out.
In that direction.
Yes, thank you.
Sariel and Vanden can come back out of the changing room.
Like buttoned up to the collar, just like.
Well, thank you very much for the information.
Mm.
Put a copper down. Look, other money.
Slides it, scrapes it across the counter. Tucks it under. Nice. You have a nice day now.
Oh, you too.
See you around, Grace.
You can step back outside into the street. A little bell rings again and the door closes.
That was awful.
That was unpleasant.
Felt like I couldn't breathe.
They really don't like us here.
You have to get used to having stifling conversations with people sometimes.
The botanists.
Botanists.
That's where Bishop worked, and people there might still know about him.
Okay, we can try that.
Next time someone's difficult, just grit your teeth and smile.
Sure. You can head off looking for the botanists.
You good, Astra? No. But also, you just call me pretty. Thanks, babe.
I have eyes.
As you look for the botanist, make an investigation check. Goodbye.
You nudged my tray and now it rolled to a 3.
I had a 3 too.
I just bounced from a 13 to a 1.
Oh my god. Can we roll that again? Because the table was like, whoa.
Go on, that was a fucking mess.
Oh god. Only marginally better.
Investigation 22.
8.
10.
Okay.
Like a sniffer dog just...
Can smell the plants.
Astra, you sort of get into the zone looking for this botanist shop. Cassian and Sariel, what you notice is a heavily pregnant woman carrying a basket of groceries. It looks like she's struggling to keep a hold of it, and the basket starts slipping out of her grasp.
Go
I'll
over
try
and
to help her.
As you do, she puts it down on the ground and looks at you like you've just burned her. She's like, starts gathering up her basket and is like,
Do you need any help?
"Don't touch me." Starts scurrying off, sort of slowly.
Apologies for the offence.
Wow.
Everyone here seems so miserable.
So distrusting.
I mean, considering the area outside, I'm not surprised.
No, but it's just sad to see.
But it's also just like anyone who isn't them.
Perhaps any instinct to meddle we should simply snuff out.
Try and keep to ourselves like we were told to do. Okay. Astra, you have spotted the botanist shop.
Spotty the Botany.
If he had pupils, they would just be like... silly eyes.
It's not hard to spot. There's a large garden around the outside of it, and it's the only building that has green sort of in a garden. It's like a thin sort of 2-post wooden fence around the outside, and it's just full of plants. In the middle is a simple black wooden building, just like the others in Sable, but nothing else has a flowering garden.
Green.
As you approach, a wooden sign on the gate warns in large letters, "These plants can kill." There's a skull emblazoned on it.
Oh.
I mean, just keep your hands to yourself. Lots of plants have got poisonous or venomous.
Oh, it could just be a sign to stop people stealing them.
I feel like people around here might know if anybody else, stole anything.
I get that impression too.
I don't know if you've seen the amount of people that are just watching out the windows.
And there's still people watching us.
Yeah. Curtain twitches. You just see like the dark figures of them like shadowed inside the houses, just staring out at
Catch the eyes of any of them, just smile and wave, try and make them uncomfortable.
You see one is a child, and when you raise your hand to wave, they get pulled away from the window and the curtain drawn across. You make your way through the gate, and you approach through the garden. You see an array of colourful plants of all kinds, twisting thorny vines, wide-petalled flowers. They mostly look relatively harmless, although a couple of them, as you walk past, you see are littered with dead beetles on the ground.
I was going to say, can I, like, see if there are ones that are poisonous and stuff, just to, like, check the validity of that sign?
Make a nature check.
I'll assist you.
Oh, thanks! That's a 26.
26. Oh, there is most definitely poisonous plants in here.
Oh, yes.
There's many that aren't, but it is littered, in fact, with poisons.
Wow. Well, there's a few that aren't actually poisonous, but, I mean, that one and that one, and that one, that one,
And that one.
and that one, yes. They're all poisonous.
Wonder if they sell poisons.
Maybe
It's
they
a
do.
botanist.
This was true.
For the ring.
I wasn't going to question you, actually, at this point.
Well,
As you reach the house, above the door hangs a simple sign that reads Bradbury's Botany Shop. And the shop is spelt with 2 P's and an E.
shoppy.
Shoppy!
In we go. Like, knock,
Ding,
knock.
ding, 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 ding.
You push inside, and it's a very simple room that looks like it's set up in what was probably the living room of this house. There is some furniture towards the back behind the counter, and a simple wooden counter. Behind it is a tall, gaunt man with an anemic pallor and a blunt haircut that hangs past his ears. You might place him in his late 40s, maybe. His face has a stern and emotionless expression. As you approach, the sort of emotionlessness just sort of picks up. He smiles.
Hi.
Hello,
Hello.
Mr. Bradbury?
that's me. Yes.
We were here to inquire after a bishop.
Oh,
We heard that he passed, but that he used to work here?
the first one of those statements isn't necessarily correct. With the second one, yes, he did work for me for quite some time.
What do you mean it's not correct?
Well, quite a sad story, that bishop. Sorry, I haven't seen you around the town. This is quite delightful to see some new faces.
Oh, yeah.
That's delightful to hear.
First welcoming person.
You see he's sort of wringing his hands as he talks to you. He's very anxious and jittery, but he looks quite happy to see just some fresh faces in his shop.
Well, I'm Verdant Astra. It's nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Credence Bradbury. Well, why are you asking after Mr. Bishop?
A friend of a friend.
Right, well, he went missing, unfortunately, some 5 years ago.
I see.
He was outside of the walls at dusk and working in one of the exterior gardens, and 2 people claim to have seen him killed by a leech.
Oh, those things in the water?
But, have you heard about the Bloodlust?
Yes.
Right. Colourful names for the same thing.
I suppose they pick up nicknames as the stories about them grow. They like to take men as food, so,
Just men?
well, that's a matter of question. There's the Queen of the Bloodless and the Vile Lord.
Right.
We just arrived in town today, so we don't know anything.
We saw one of them stuck outside the town.
With a wood through its chest, by any chance?
Yes, and that's about all we know.
Well, I suppose if you're going to be around here, you best be a little better armed.
Please.
The Bloodless are a mockery of the Maiden of the Night. Their colourless skin and their pale hair. They curse the Morning Lord with their hatred of the sun. They never age and they never die. Do not be deceived. The Radiant are not mocked, for whatever one sows, he will also reap. The unholy queen, she comes for the daughters as they reach adulthood. She beguiles them with her demonic gaze, and she takes them away. And once they're gone, if they return at all, they do so as unholy creatures of the night.
Like the daughter that we saw at the front gate.
Are they all pale-haired?
They tend to be.
Kind of glances at Sariel sadly.
I can tell the difference between colourless skin and hair and that of someone with pale hair.
It's good to know.
I can see if people have been distrusting as you enter the town, I suspect they may look at you and consider you one of them.
Let them.
We made it into the town, so
I'm not changing how I look. Not for them.
Quite right too. Anyway, the wards around Sable keep people safe from their unholy nature, as the impure cannot cross them, and the fact you are here means that I trust you.
Thank you.
How are they protecting the town? What have they got in place? Do you know anything about that?
I wouldn't know about any of that. The Abbey takes care of all of it.
You don't know anything about a mad woman outside luring people into a cave?
He looks very confused. No, but that must be the work of the Bloodlust.
Okay.
And Ben's like, sorry, you were telling us about Bishop?
Yes.
Yes, I was. So he was taken by one of them. He was from Sable. I mean, it's very, very rare that anyone in Sable is not from Sable. But his father came from a village outside the walls. And so Bishop fell into the care of the Abbey. He was raised there. He was a good employee, dedicated to learning to respect the plants, studying hard as my apprentice when he first joined. He never got himself in trouble, but people in the town didn't particularly like him.
Why?
He wasn't very devout. Some even said that he wasn't for the Abbey at all. But he never caused any trouble, I promise you that.
What made it seem like his faith was wavering to everyone?
He didn't want to dedicate himself to the service of the convent. Having been raised there, that's where he first learned about plants tending the garden. But when he reached adulthood, he wasn't at all interested in staying there, despite having spent his whole life there.
Do you know the name Peter Fulgrim?
I'm afraid not.
And did this bishop, did he leave the walls of the city much?
Unfortunately, there are plants that I cannot grow safely within Sable itself, so that we do have a few gardens outside of the walls, and he was always quite forthcoming, volunteering to head out and tend to them, so I didn't have to.
Right. And that just didn't come back one day.
As I said, a couple of people did claim to have seen him killed by one of the Bloodlust.
Who are these people?
Justice Foster at the town hall, and Ebergood, one of the farmers.
Okay.
You would trust their word on that?
Well, he didn't come back, and people don't tend to survive outside the walls. I don't see any reason why they'd be lying. Right, well, that's a bit of a dampener. I don't exactly know what we're supposed to do from here.
I suppose just find somewhere to stay the night and then figure out what to do from there.
Maybe speak to some higher powers, see if they have any insight.
it's been a hell of a day, I think. We definitely need to rest.
Yes.
If you're looking for a good meal, the Reverend's Rest. They serve good food and good ale.
Thank you.
Just before we leave, I couldn't help but notice the array of more dangerous plants you have outside. You don't happen to sell poisons or anything they could be brewed into?
Or just tinctures in general?
Well, he looks a little bit nervous about that question, like he's not used to being asked if he sells poison.
Bro, you have poisonous plants everywhere. I want to know.
I suppose, yes, I do.
Yes?
I've got a variety.
Of poisons?
Yes.
May I see?
Okay. Goes behind the counter and pulls up like a tray of little bottles and stuff. You can see that he has a variety of things for sale. There's a bundle of sage. There's a pot of some sort of restorative ointment. And then there's a couple of different poisons. He points them out. He's got bloodroot poison, used for poisoning rats and birds and other vermin. And he's got arsenic, which he very quickly explains is used for bronzing metalwork. And veiled flower poison, which is used for anaesthetizing livestock and injured people for surgery.
How much for each of these things?
The veiled flower is the cheapest. It's set at about, well, if you want to take the whole lot, probably around 40 gold.
When you say the whole lot, how much is that?
It's probably like 2 uses.
Okay.
And then it's 115 for the bloodroot and 160 for the arsenic.
And what's the ointment?
He tells you that the restorative ointment has 4 doses of a mixture that smells faintly like alum, and he opens the pot and lets you smell it.
Oh, it does.
And it can be swallowed or applied to the skin to cure wounds, poisons, diseases. It's the 4 doses. Well, you can spread them out as you like. It doesn't go off. 140 gold for that one. Or if you need healing herbs, I can sell them in bundles.
Do you remember at all, I'm cursing myself for not writing this down, I know that 2 charges in the Angelique ring are for sleeping poison.
Yep.
I have 2 more charges that I've listed that I must have found in the keep or something.
I believe you found, just 2 vials of poison.
Just regular
It
poison.
was just poison, yeah.
Okay. Just poison. I'd like to buy a dose of arsenic, please.
Okay. He does explain to you that each of these poisons has a special effect. So the arsenic, which is, he stresses, used for bronzing metalwork, and it's kind of like a, and you won't tell me what you want it for, and we won't discuss that.
Bronzing metalwork.
A creature subjected to this poison must make a con save, becoming poisoned for 1 hour, and taking poison damage just constantly throughout the hour.
Okay. And that was 160?
Yep.
Tight.
The veiled flower poison, it's a con save, or the creature must be prone and restrained for 1 minute.
That's pretty good.
How much is that?
That one's, I think I said
40
40.
for the lot,
Yeah,
that 2 doses.
I'm very keen on that one.
And the bloodroot poison is a con save, or its dex score is temporarily reduced by a d4 until the next long rest.
I will buy the veil flower poison.
Okay.
I've got 5 charges in the ring of fun stuff. I'll stay where I am now.
Okay. You bought the arsenic, you bought the veiled flower.
I will purchase the salve.
Okay. The restorative ointment,
Stop.
140 gold pieces. It's got 4 uses.
Okay, I drop 14 platinum.
Blow this man's mind.
He just looks at it like he doesn't know what it is.
Vanden, did I do it right?
No, you did. I'm not sure this is the kind of town that has had platinum money before.
Okay,
This is like very unusual.
sorry, apparently one of these is worth 10 gold, so I figured...
He picks it up. He just sort of puts it on a scale that's like on his counter, and then puts 10 gold pieces, and is like,
That's legal tender.
"That's legal tender." You bring out the Scottish pounds,
Yeah.
yeah. And he will take it and
Sick.
you can spend the platinum. He looks sort of in complete awe of this money that he's never seen before.
Astra's money just plummeting.
What's the DC on the con save?
15.
Nice.
You have purchased most of his wares. There's just this one last poison and this bundle of sage left. And he's like, thank you very much.
We fucking like raided this guy's shop.
Yeah.
Does the sage have any particular effect?
Burns for 10 minutes. Causes the bloodlust to avoid coming within 30 feet of you.
Well, how much?
30 gold pieces.
We'll take it.
He's absolutely delighted. You have the feeling this man's never made this much money before.
He deserves it.
Add some sage.
I think your shop's really nice, by the way.
Thank you.
I had a delightful time looking at all the flowers outside.
Aren't they beautiful?
I was just wax poetic about the different types and different breeds and stuff of flowers.
He's absolutely delighted and he just listens and talks back and gets very excited about plants.
Very excited
Like,
about plants.
His sort of quiet, jittery demeanour seeps away with the passion of talking about plants.
Yes, good. We'll just talk plants with this man.
Mm-hmm. And by the end of the conversation, he is paying attention to the state that you guys are in and looking at Vanden. He's like, you look like you're in some discomfort there. And Vanden, who's sort of been standing at the back silently with a headache, is like, that's one way to put it. Come, sit. And sort of gestures around the counter, which just stands alone in the middle of this room, to one of the seats and starts grinding up like a herbal paste. And basically symbols him across the forehead with this paste.
After all, why shouldn't I?
Why shouldn't I? And I'm just like, it's cold. Thank you, I think.
Feel better?
It's definitely helping.
Cold is good for your headaches.
Could we get any of that to go?
Of course.
How much?
Oh, everything else you bought, don't worry about it. And he'll just give you a little pot of this, like, crunched up herb cream.
You're a blessing, Credence, thank you.
I'm glad to be of service.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
And you too. May the Radiant One's light shine on you.
And you.
Make your way back out of the shop into his garden. That was quite an experience.
At least someone's been nice to us.
Oh, yeah. That was really refreshing after everything that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we make our way to the Abbey and see if we can set up a camp there?
Well, let's perhaps go get dinner at that
Oh yeah.
Mm.
inn first. Tavern. Could do with a drink.
Yeah.
As we're walking, I'll sort of say to the others, trying not to be overheard by any passerbys, does anyone else think it's a bit convenient that the man who the town wasn't particularly keen on went out beyond the walls and then never came back?
Yes.
With the word of 2 townspeople?
Yes, definitely.
Who knows where he is now?
Who knows?
Regardless of what actually happened, we're looking for someone who's potentially dead 5 years ago.
But if we were sent here to do that, then surely
Fulgrim seems so certain.
But he did come from a different plane?
From the goddess of death.
So maybe time works differently in the Shadowfell.
But if the goddess of death sent him, then surely she would know if Bishop was dead.
Well, presumably.
Oh, this is a lot.
Yeah.
A good night's sleep will do as well.
Food and sleep.
Food.
Okay. You make your way back through the town looking for this tavern, and you see it eventually. On the way, you do see a shop with a sign outside that says the Early Undertaker Weaponsmith.
God. Hell yeah.
You see in the distance what looks like it might be a town hall and a cemetery.
Justice.
And then you see the Reverend's Rest. It's a black clapboard building again, but sports 3 gables on its thatched roof and a chimney that is just constantly puffing out smoke into the air. You step inside, it's simple but warmly lit. There's no one else in here besides the man behind the counter. A stout, bloated man with a limp and blotchy, dry skin on his face, although he smiles too in a way that's uncharacteristic for the rest of the town. What can I help you with?
Looking for hot meals and good ale.
That I can most certainly do. Please take a table, my friends.
Thank you.
You see, he starts just pouring out some ales that looks like there might be ale, and that's the only choice. Come a long way, have you?
Quite a way, yes. We just arrived in town an hour ago.
Well, I hope this does you well.
It surely will.
He goes sort of through a back door and leaves you for a few minutes to just sit and decompress in the warmth.
Glug, 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 glug.
The ale that he's brought to the table, it's pretty watered down. It tastes mostly like water, kind of a little bit thick and wheaty.
I don't know what ale's supposed to taste like.
Not that.
So I'm just drinking.
Cassian just like, sure, let's have this.
Yeah.
Not the nicest, but
No.
Is it not good?
It's very
Uh,
watered down.
absolutely incredible, best ale I've ever had.
It's very watered down.
Don't be sarcastic with me.
In fact, I just puts the glass on the table without drinking any.
It's very tiring today. It's been a really long day, hasn't it?
I feel like we have to prepare ourselves for the fact they might not let us stay here.
If all else fails, maybe we can ask our botanist friend if
Maybe.
we can stay in his living room.
He did seem friendly.
Mm-hmm. And I know the people at the front gate said that nobody stays in the inn, but we could ask while we're here.
Sure.
And I mean, they let us through the gates, and we got through their wards or whatever they've put up.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't seem very religious to throw someone out on the street.
No. I don't know, I get the impression their religious culture here is a little bit strange. I want to ask more questions about it, but I don't want to offend anyone.
Doesn't sit right with me.
I suppose we can learn by observing.
Sure. This man sort of stumbles out again. He's limping. He's kind of clumsy as he moves, spilling a bit of the soup like over the edge of the tray onto his shoes.
Let me help you.
Thank you.
She'll take some of the bowls.
Very nice of you.
It's not a problem.
You can set them down. It's a pretty basic looking meal. It's a pretty basic looking meal, which the food itself looks about as austere as the local architecture and the fashion. Clearly serving the crop of the season alongside anything that can be pickled and preserved. He's brought out sweet corn soup, a small amount of mutton stew, brown bread and pickled fish. The servings are frugal, barely filling the tin plates and bowls on which they're served. And you can already tell, as it's set down, it's largely unseasoned, apart from what's been heavily preserved in salt.
Huh.
A serving of jam is provided to mix with your food.
What kind of jam?
Strawberry jam. Or you suppose just local berry jam that's been plucked off bushes.
Sweet corn soup and berry jam.
We'll pull a bowl of sweet corn soup, a piece of bread and some jam and just...
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like cheese?
Yes.
Yes.
Seeing as you're new here, I can get you some good cheese. And he sort of turns around and starts limping away again. There's no one else in here and it's very odd.
Maybe we just had a bad experience with that shop owner.
Maybe. She really didn't like us.
No.
No.
Well, no one out on the street seems to like us either.
Well, no. But again, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, like you said, they've lived in this place for so long and they can't trust people from the outside if they're losing people constantly.
Credence said, someone said, most people are born in Sable, but not everyone.
No.
There must be some people around here who aren't from here.
Well, that was Bishop's father. Was an outsider.
Although I think the suggestion was that Bishop was taken to the Abbey. I don't know whether that means away from his parents.
Or his parents died, or...
Maybe there's more outsiders at the Abbey, or...
Oh,
Maybe.
we can ask when we go there.
Sure.
More
Let's
questions
see.
for the list.
Let's see how good this cheese is first.
The proprietor comes back out, limps over. He's got with him 2 blocks of cheese.
Oh, hell yeah.
One of them is like a Wensleydale
Oh,
creamy
hell
cheese
yeah.
with berries in it.
Yes.
and the other one is like a rich, stinky cheese. He brings them over to the table, and there's like a crumb of it on the plate, and he's like, good cheese, and sets them down.
Thank you.
Please partake.
Oh, thank you so much.
Wensleydale on the bread.
Yes, same.
Stinky cheese on the bread.
And he's got a spoonful of the mutton stew, and he's like, it's not bad. It just waits for the guy to be sort of busy the other side of the room. It just doesn't taste like anything.
It's warm. We've had a long day.
It's a meal.
Yeah.
Eat.
The cheese tastes like things.
Good. I'll take a piece of cheese. And you can eat your fill of this really plain food. And this
Drink.
nice rich cheese.
Drinks anyone's rejected ale, knowing no better.
It doesn't really even give you a buzz.
What's the point?
You just feel like you've drunk way too much liquid.
Well, now I just feel bloated.
Ale will do that to you.
I'm gonna go up to the counter and just. How much do we owe you for the food?
Each mug of ale, 3 copper pieces, and a copper piece for a plate of food.
Okay. So 7 altogether. No, 8. What am I doing?
It'll be 16 copper.
4.
That's for 4 people.
4.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
16 altogether.
16 altogether. Great. I'll pay for that. Do you have a place, like a room that we could stay in for the night? Even if there's no beds, we've got bedrolls with us, just, you know, a roof over our heads.
I have to ask their wife.
Oh, of course.
I mean, people don't stay in the town.
Well, we're new for the day and we don't really want to go back outside, you understand?
No, I understand, of course.
Even if it's just a stable at this point.
He looks considerate. I will see.
Thank you.
Off he trots again.
My brain just like, what if his wife's the shopkeeper? She'll have us.
no! We'll come back over and he's going to see if he can get his place to stay for the night.
Oh, grand.
So we can just head up to the Abbey in the morning after we're rested.
Good idea.
Rather than just turning up like, hey, can we stay on your land? And
Mm.
they're like, no. And then we can't talk to them tomorrow because they're like, oh, you folk.
You folk who smell like you've been through a horrible cave system.
That must be exactly the off-putting thing. They don't want us anywhere near them, was too stinky.
For all the baths that we have on our travels, it's never enough.
And yet it's still better than Chloe.
The greasiest thing that I've ever seen, yes. I wouldn't mind washing my wounds, though.
Yes.
Need to keep them clean.
That woman scratched my leg.
Oh.
See?
I'll just wake up his illusory trouser and be like, wait a minute. And just really quickly drop his illusion.
Take a look at his leg.
It has been gouged with 4 nails, like raking up his ankle. It's got dirt and like grime in it from both the nails and from clawing your way out of the hole.
Comes Brad, we need to see about cleaning that up.
And recast the illusion.
Just in time as well, as the proprietor comes limping out, waddling. One of the animal barns we can definitely set up for you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Good.
Do you have access to clean water that you could use?
Most certainly.
Thank you.
If you'd like to, whenever you're ready, come through with me.
Slip him a gold for his trouble.
Eyes light up like, ooh. And you get the feeling that he's quite conflicted about the gold piece, but he does take it.
I won't tell the missus.
But he does take it.
And he will lead you through a door at the back, out into the yard behind this. I mean, like I said, there's no land dedicated to anybody here in Sable. So it's just out of the back door, back into the town. But behind the house, there is an animal barn. And he leads you over to it. You can hear animals inside, sheep braying, the sound of a cow. And he opens the doors and says, it'll be nice and dry at least.
That's something.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Should you need anything, please wait till morning.
Sure, I think we just need water for our friend's wounds.
And he will gesture you to like a water butt outside.
Nice. Thank you.
And with that, he just turns and waddles back inside.
I'll get some water and start cleaning up both of these guys' wounds.
So you push into the animal barn, and there's a couple of like pens and stables, and then there's one that's empty.
We'll go into that one. I'll just start setting up everyone's bedrolls.
Even your luxury glamping bedroll.
I guess it'll do.
Better than nothing.
We have slept in worse places.
Yes. You can keep each other warm.
Anyone else feel like 2 people on watch? Even though we're in the walls of the town, it still doesn't sit right with me, this place.
I don't really want to wake up and just have a townsperson leaning over us.
Yes.
So 2 sleep or 2 watch?
I can take first watch.
Sure. I'm gonna get some rest.
Yes,
if
you
you
get
don't
some
mind.
rest. And Sariel, you get some rest too.
And then we'll swap.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Then we'll unwrap the bandages and the splint from his arm. You can see that it's swelling. And you can clean the wound off. The magic healing has done enough that it's clearly not going to get any worse, but it's probably going to take some time without more significant healing.
It's the last spell of the day, so I will do my last spell, cure wounds on you.
Okay.
Make him feel better.
Yeah. Nice, for 9 hit points back.
That's nice.
Are you going to be alright with your sword?
I don't know.
You still got the other ones?
We sold them.
You got
But
anything that you could use with
I can use this one-handed. I just
Okay.
won't be as good.
Well, get some rest anyway. No point in deliberating about how good or not is he gonna be. We might not even need to fight, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
That would be nice for once. Just dreading going to sleep.
Been watching over.
It's more the dreams.
I know.
Almost wish I'd never started dreaming.
You'll have a good one eventually.
Maybe.
Just keep writing them down. Looking for signs.
He lays back on the bedroll. You can see he's not falling asleep immediately. He's just got the little raven pin. He's just turning it over in his hands thoughtfully. And he'll just lay there.
Sarah will come and curl up close to him.
Snuggle.
He sort of nudges along next to you, keeps his probably fractured arm close to his chest.
Yeah, I'll sleep on his other side.
You two are left on watch.
A little space. I guess one watching one way, one looking for anything else.
There's not much to watch. I mean, you're inside the walls of a stable,
Just in case there's
Mhm.
weird
Just-
people.
staring at a cow,
This is great.
staring back at you.
Fantastic. Just doing my bag business with my, taking my sapling out and caring for it and then doing my, journaling.
Cassian's gonna go into his notebook and just do a kind of crude sketch of the demonic figure from the thing. And just in case, anyone finds this and sees the weird demonic etching in it, he is going to write next to it, Orcus, ? Enemy, and underline that.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Nemesis. Okay. Astra sits beside you, journaling, whatever you put in Astra's diary, as Cassian draws this horrible, demonic, goat-like figure.
At the end of every day, Astra is writing down what has happened in the day.
He's got a lot to write about today, mate.
Yep. And if he on the opposite page or if he's got space, we'll draw something from the day, which is if you look over, you'll see every page is like that, and the writing is very small.
How do you write that fine?
Practice, I suppose,
How do you read it?
with my eyes.
I feel like I need a
Preferably.
magnifying glass.
I'm used to it.
Pulls out his little trinket glasses. And...
Is that
That's better, yes.
Okay. It's probably your age catching up with you.
You watch your tongue, young man. Still spry for an elf. Don't talk down to me.
I wasn't. It's called teasing.
Mm.
You alright?
Yes, why wouldn't I be?
Oh, because of all this shit. On top of everything else.
You know, despite how everything has been the past 3 days, I've been feeling better. More clarity, I suppose.
A little bit lighter.
Not even necessarily that, just...
Was it last night we did the fight with Melissa and the golem? Was it the night before?
It was last night.
It was last night.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Astra, last night I feel like I nearly died. And you nearly did earlier in the day. The day before, I lose track.
It's all blurred into one.
I've nothing more to hold back. If any of us could be dead in any second, I just want to speak truthfully with all of you. And I want to make sure that everyone here is as safe as I can keep them.
I appreciate that. I'll be honest, as much as you want me to as well.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your dreams earlier. You seemed hesitant at first.
It's okay. It was...
I know they can be private.
I suppose it was more the reason that I had the dream that I was hesitant on sharing, but...
Because you asked Melora for advice.
But I'd never done that before. It was odd.
But she did speak to you.
I suppose so.
That's a good sign.
It is. I suppose the thing that's weighing on me is that I might never see my family again.
I don't know if that was what she was trying to say. From what it sounded like, it was more that you had a task to be done before you could.
To keep them safe, I need to stay out here. To keep everything else safe.
But there must be an end to that.
The person who passed this title on to me, he did so in the middle of a wood. And when he did, he faded away into leaves as he passed into Melora's lair. Melora's realm. And I suspect that what Vanden said about this being a lifelong thing is probably the truth.
Then I'm sorry. But that's something to come to terms with over time.
Yeah. And it's not something to focus on for now.
No. There's other strange things going on, and there's a blood moon in a couple of nights that apparently is going to cause some strange change all over Caldera. Casual things, you know.
Just little Dawnbringer things.
Just little Dawnbringer things. Should have waited for another group of people to show up in front of the shop.
But you didn't.
But you did! No, you were a strange bunch, and it was fun to hang around with you. I like the trouble.
Well, you caused most of it, so...
You take that back.
Shan't.
I also get us out of things sometimes, thank you very much.
You do. Anyway, I've got to get back to writing.
You scribble away in your microscopic handwriting, Astra.
I will.
One day I'll decode it. I'll read your diary when you're not looking.
Okay. I'm not going to make you make a perception check,
There's nothing to perceive except cow.
because there's nothing to perceive.
It's a 5. I see a cow.
The cow sees
Do
you.
I see the outline of a cow and I'm like, maybe. Ruby?
A sheep sneaks up on you from behind.
Besides, there would be no missing the sound of a bell ringing within Sable in the middle of the night. The dark sky outside of the stable suddenly starts to light up with an orange glow, slowly at first and then all at once, catching a light until it almost looks like the sun is rising, cresting over the trees. It's that you notice first, before quickly the air in the area fills with thick black smoke, the scent of burning filling your nostrils as screams start to echo through the streets outside in Sable. Sariel, this will wake you and Vanden.
How many hours has it been?
I'd say 4.
Oh.
It's been half your watch.
I've had a long rest.
And Sariel would have? Does it feel like the smoke and, like, clearly fire is in this barn?
Not in the barn, in the town.
Oh,
What's happening?
I don't know, fire, I think. We should see if we can help.
We should do something.
Get up and out of the stable.
Okay, you stand up and you sort of start slowly and tiredly pulling your things back together.
Mm-hmm. Roll up my unused sleeping bag again, like, fuck.
And you race out into the town to see 2 houses completely ablaze, the inferno of fire licking up towards the sky. People are shrieking and fleeing from their homes towards the safety of other buildings or towards the abbey. You see a strong man hauling a woman away to safety as she screams, my girl, don't let them take her!
No.
Where is she?
Finally, you make sense of the scene. You see several women, not dissimilar to the one you saw burned up to a crisp outside the walls earlier that night. Colourless hair and pale skin, wearing mockeries of the clothing of Sable, simple dresses ripped short or exposing their chests, bare feet and fingers tipped with black claws, white hair flowing freely about themselves. Amongst them, one stands out, her face made up in dark makeup, her body dripping in jewellery, and her black dress long and flowing, covering very little, half exposing her down to her navel. She has in her clutches a young woman, no older than 19, fear on her beautiful face as this feminine creature holds her, stroking clawed fingers through her dark curls of hair. Another of her minions grabs at the wrist of another young woman, dragging her away towards the palisade wall. A third crawls like an insect on the outside of one of the buildings, hissing through sharpened teeth as a wicked pointed tongue licks out of her mouth.
I am bolting for the young girl.
Bolting as well.
I'd say, let's roll initiative.
I have no spells.
Okay. Finally.
Okay. Astra.
I got 18.
Cassian.
20.
Sariel.
23.
Sariel. Cassian. Vanden. Vanden.
Oh, no.
Sariel, as the group of you charge out and see this scene before you, you're up first.
Oof, how far away are we, first of all?
I'd say 40 feet. All of them are within 30 feet of each other. So let's say the vampire queen in the centre with the girl is 40 feet from you. 10 feet behind her is the other one cornering the girl against the house. And the third one is on the wall of the house.
Sariel's going to start running up towards them,
Mm-hmm.
like using her full movement to get as close as she can.
Okay. You're 10 feet away.
She will cast Fire Shield.
Okay.
So she holds white flames in her hands and they start to lick all over her body.
Ooh.
So I am choosing... You can choose a warm shield or a chill shield. I am choosing the chill shield, as it gives you resistance to fire damage.
Okay.
Yep. That's not a concentration spell.
Okay.
It lasts for 10 minutes.
Great.
And it does other stuff, but that's if I get hit, so...
Okay. Cassian.
Okay, I'm going to run up to the one closest to me. As I do so, Spirit Shroud of Radiant damage.
Okay.
Then action on my way to Eldritch Blasts.
Nice.
Oh, but they're both 17.
Both hit then.
Okay. 4. 16 points of force damage.
Nice. Okay. This is straight at the one at the front who are holding the girl?
Yep.
Okay, they both hit against her. You see her turn and sort of actually pay attention to you for the first time. Her hand sort of clutches now in the girl's hair. And she looks at you between the group, mystified, and her eyes fixate on Sariel, curiously.
You.
Vanden's turn. He can't get all the way forward, so he's going to run 30 feet closer and throw a firebolt towards the next one behind the one you've just hit. Nice. That's way over 20.
Yes.
How's him arm?
Pretty painful still. You can see that he's holding that one close and using his other hand. That does 2d10s.
Fire. Na-na-na.
Nice. 13. That's as close as he can get for now. The Bloodlust that Cassian just hit now looks at this woman that she's clutching in one hand. Turns towards your group and just shoves her towards the creature behind her. The girl stumbles and the one behind the first one turns and looks like she's about to grab her. This first woman advances on Sariel as she approaches. Can you make me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh god, no.
24. 24. Okay. You make it. You feel like this creature's charm is trying to seep into your brain. And she just approaches, looks you dead in the eye as she does that. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Okay. That's all she's going to do.
Oh,
Okay.
Astra. I'm going to use as much movement and like action to get over to the young girl.
Okay. She's now 50 feet away. You gonna dash?
Yeah.
Okay. You dash towards her, like sort of bringing yourself up next to her, and there's one of these creatures, like another 5 foot in front of you.
I will like use one arm to like scoop her behind me and hold her behind me, and use my other arm to pull out the burn hand dagger and just point it towards the creature.
Okay, you do that. You put yourself between the girl and the creature and just point the dagger forwards.
And is it a bonus action or an action to use dash?
An action
Action.
dash.
So I'll use my bonus action to use a charge on the dagger.
Ooh,
So it's
okay.
now got fire damage on it.
Nice.
So it just like fire lights along it.
That sort of
Just
lights
licks.
up along the blade, flickers with flames.
Stay back. Ew. What the fuck? What the fuck?
The one climbing on the side of the house launches itself off the house towards Astra.
Oh.
Just sort of like a springboard, leaps forwards. It's going to try and claw at you. It's a natural one.
No.
You're able to sort of scoot to the side. It skids in the dirt and turns and looks up at you. This one, she looks a lot more feral than the other two. And you see she hisses through these pointed fangs like...
Ew.
Charges again and tries to bite you. That's a 24 to hit. Okay, you're going to take 4 points of piercing damage plus
Plus.
7 points of necrotic damage. Okay, and just she sinks her sharp teeth into your neck.
Ew. Oh no.
The other one that you were previously pointing the dagger at is just going to move around this situation and try and grapple the girl.
Me and my tail are holding her against me.
Oh. She grabs hold of the girl, and you see the girl is desperately trying to fight back. Like, please, I don't want this, please. You notice that the townsfolk are all just staying away from this scene. They're all like back against the walls. Some of them are like glancing up towards the abbey. Nobody wants to engage. Back to the top of the round. Sariel.
She'll bring a moonbeam down on this bad bitch.
Oh, okay.
Just second level. Can she make a constitution save?
It's a dirty 20.
She makes it, but
2d10s of radiant damage. 5, so 2. A tickle of radiant.
You see, she's just standing there in the column of moonlight, staring at you with a smile, still fixated on looking at you.
Gross.
Stare her down.
It's kind of sexy though, let's be honest.
Growling.
Okay, Cassian.
Can I get up to the one that has the girl grappled?
Yes, you can now.
And is it within Astra's melee? Can I flank or...?
No, because the girl is between you and Astra.
That's fine. I will go up, and this time I will booming blade and take a swing with my sword. 16?
16 does hit.
Okay,
Nice.
so that's d6, and a d8 of radiant, and a d8 of thunder. So 5 slashing, 1 thunder, 6 radiant, and again, shrouded in thunderous energy.
So 12. What are you doing anything else?
No, I don't think I can do anything else, so I'm just gonna stay put, and if she moves, I'll get her.
Okay. Vanden is going to charge up to one of the moonbeam and stand just out of it.
Good boy.
Draw out his longsword in one hand and try and just slash through this creature. Vanden swings the sword down one-handed and strikes the creature across its chest. It's going to be a d8 because...
One hand.
8!
Nice.
One-handed Vanden.
He will try and hack the other way as well. Still manages to cut into this creature with the sword one-handed.
Nice.
You can see he's got his teeth gritted. Its turn.
Starts in the moonbeam.
It does indeed.
Make that save.
Can't save. That is 17.
Succeeds. 16 halved to 8 radiant damage.
Okay. Is obviously going to step out of the moonbeam.
How dare she?
And she will, still looking at Sariel, sort of like curiously, is going to attack Vanden.
She's still in my melee range, or has she left my melee range?
I guess
Because I was right up against her.
she would have just like slid to the side, and I guess she would have had to leave your melee range to move around
Yeah,
out of the
so
moonbeam.
I'll
Bonk.
reaction hit her with my staff then.
Okay.
18.
18 hits.
2. 4 points of bonk.
Magical bonk.
Magical bonk.
You strike her with the staff. Her eyes are sort of still on you as she moves around.
Don't touch him!
As you say, don't touch him, she's going to try and bite him.
That is the opposite of what Sariel just asked.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
a 24.
Oh!
You say, don't touch him, and she just reaches out and sinks her teeth into his neck with one hand against his chest and the other on his sword. There's little he can do to defend himself. And she has him clutched in her claws, her teeth sunk into his neck. As you see, she just...
No!
blood, like, colouring her pale lips.
It's not a juice box.
Astra, your turn. You have this one beside you hissing on the ground, and this one that's just skirted around you with Cassian not quite flanking it behind you.
My tail's still wrapped around this girl's waist behind me to keep her close. And like my arm's still like protecting and a flaming knife pointing at this thing in front of me.
Yeah.
Ash is just gonna start humming,
Okay.
and as they do, just this like shimmer of radiant energy all over them as they cast Mantle of Majesty on themselves.
Okay.
And they just retreat to the and cast command on the one in front.
Oh.
Kind of making a whiz 15 save for me, please.
Wiz 15. Doesn't make it.
It needs to leave.
On its turn, it will use its action or its movement to get away from you.
Yep, that was my bonus action.
Okay.
And then for my action, I guess I will just, because I know that one's leaving now,
Yep.
turn my body. So I've got this girl now against my chest, pulling her towards me, and then just now the knife against the back of the neck of the one that's facing Cassian.
Okay. On its turn, it will make a dex check to get away from that, or it'll take the damage. As a legendary action, at the end of your turn, the one biting Vanden is going to bite again.
Oh no.
Sariel, you just watch this happen as she sinks her teeth in deeper. The little one that you've just used command on is just going to start moving backwards away from you. It retreats to the building and starts climbing up it backwards, feet first.
Bye.
Nice.
The other one's going to make a dex check. Oh, she is going to try and move. Feeling the burning sensation against the back of her neck, she just tries to move away, like 10 feet away from this.
She takes 15 points of thunder damage.
15 points of thunder damage. So she takes the thunder damage from Booming Blade. And then if you want to take an opportunity attack, it'll be at advantage.
Yeah, why not? Because apparently Spirit Shroud applies to all my attacks.
Is that a crit?
Yeah, it is, bitch.
Nice.
I got a natural 19, 26.
Nice.
My very first physical attack is Astra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Astra is determined.
Vengeance.
Okay, flanking, you both strike out.
7 slashing, 3 radiant.
So that's 6 piercing damage and then 6 fire damage.
And then doubled because...
Oh no, that was doubled.
Okay, that was 12 points. Okay. That's the start of her turn as she just flees away from the two of you.
Astra just attacked with a fucking blade and just...
As she moves away, Cassian, you see Astra is struck down and you see blood on the end of his blade.
He just gives you a little smile.
Doesn't return it.
She is going to charge forward again at Astra in fury. Like blackened long claws out and tries to strike you with the claws.
Come on, babe.
Oh, first one doesn't hit, that's a 9.
Nope.
She'll try and strike again with the claws. Oh, doesn't hit either. You just quickly, dexterously move away from her attacks.
I've got to protect. I've got to protect.
The creature that has Vanden grappled starts to move. It's going to move 15 feet away, dragging him backwards towards the palisade wall without provoking opportunity attacks.
Is that something she can do on her turn?
That's a legendary action.
Oh, bitch.
It's your turn, Sariel.
You're not going anywhere, you bloodless bitch.
Oh!
Follow after her and try and ram my claws like into her side.
Okay. Make an attack.
Oh god, he's not gonna betray me! 16?
16 is the AC.
Oh god.
That's cocked. 11 points of acid damage.
Nice. Okay.
And I'll just hold her, like not letting her go any further.
If you're trying to prevent her from moving, make a strength check.
Hit.
12? Okay. You have your hand on her. You get the feeling if she wanted to pull away, she could do so very easily.
Like,
But she doesn't. She just smiles at you. Cassian, it's your turn.
I am running to flank this one with Sariel.
Okay.
And on my way, booming blade in
Yep.
for a swipe. So at advantage
At
this
advantage.
time. 15.
Just misses, I'm afraid. She sees you coming because you come running across to where she is. And just sort of ducks and weaves around the blade.
Bonus action 2-weapon fighting.
Okay,
Just bring up a dagger, try and shank her with that.
go for it.
Because apparently Spirit Shroud is any attack
Yeah.
that I make. Natural 17, 24.
Nice.
So that's a d4 plus a d8.
Nice, nice.
What's my plus for a dagger? 6 points of slashing damage, 3 points of radiant damage.
Nice.
Just right between some of her ribs, and I just go, drop him now.
She's like, she turns to look at you. You see that her like pale eyes are now starting to mist over red as the blood fills her veins. Vanden's turn. It's top of the initiative, so at the end of yours, she's going to bite again. That's going to hit. You can see that he's starting to go even paler now, just sort of like getting weaker in her arms.
Vanden, move!
He is going to try and make a strength check to break out as his action, feeling how weak he is. That's a 2.
Oh,
This boy's not doing well.
He just had a lot of blood drained.
Okay, that was his action. There is no bonus action he can do without making an attack. Nope, he can use second wind. He's going to regain.
Hey! God.
Okay, her turn.
She doesn't need one.
She is going to bite.
You've bitten him enough.
Lady D.
Slice still tastes good. And then release one of her claws to strike out at Cassian. It's a 14, so 23.
Sure.
And you're going to take 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Okay. Astra.
Still humming to try and like keep mental majesty up. Shout back to the one that's already a distance away. Keep retreat.
That's another.
Whiz 15.
That's a 3.
Tight.
Go away.
Little feral one's just going to keep moving away.
And the one in front of me, I'm going to release the girl and just be like, stay back against the walls and don't let them get you. And I'm going to dagger.
Oh. You going to stab?
I'm going to dagger.
Go on.
I'm going to try dagger.
Stabby stab.
Because
Stabby stab.
as much, I suppose I do have cantrips. With the dagger still pointed at her then. Just, you get out of here now. And just vicious mockery, whiz 15 save.
Okay.
Because if you don't, there'll be hells to pay.
That's a 2.
Oh.
Vicious mockery. You mock her.
4 psychic damage.
She takes
still good.
And
4
her
psychic
next
damage.
attack has disadvantage.
Sure does. You see that she sort of... I already know all about the hells. Okay.
You know about the hell to get you.
The little one, the feral little one that you've ordered to retreat, scuttles across the roof of one of the houses and is gone out of sight.
Bye.
The other one, the one that you've just insulted, is going to turn and start retreating.
Okay.
Sort of cast a glance over to the one that Sariel and Cassian have surrounded and just starts moving away from you. You'll get an opportunity to attack if you want, as she just backs away. Stabby stabby.
Okay. Go off, I guess, Astra.
That's what you always
23.
wanted to do, apparently.
Oh, 23 hits.
That's what I mean. Go the fuck off.
Astra was made to stab.
Oh, okay. So that's 3 piercing and 6 fire.
Yo. Nice. Okay. You land quite a heavy hit and you slash through her pale chest. You see blood starting to seep out of her. Slowly, less than there would be on a normal wound, as she backs away. She's going to use her movement and her action to try and get around the houses. The black smoke is now filling the air as 2 of these buildings just burn. You reckon the top floors are gone. Back to the top of the round, Sariel.
I'm gonna stab her again.
She's flanked now, so at advantage.
Yep. You leave him alone! 22.
22 hits.
11 acid damage.
Okay. You drive 11 acid damage into her like exposed navel with your claws. You doing anything else?
That's like, is there any way that I can sort of prise Vanden away from her?
You can make a strength check to pull him out of the grapple.
Can I? 16?
16 makes it. He's
Grab him
gone
and,
so
like-
weak. You surprise her with the claws and you just yank him out of her grapple.
And sort of put him behind me.
You see, he's just swaying on his feet as he stumbles back.
And go!
Cassian.
Shuffling round as much as I need to continue flanking, and just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Boom and Blade, Spirit Shroud, that good old combination. 25.
25 most certainly hits.
Get her! Let's fillet this bitch!
Get back in the tray.
Woo!
It says sorry.
4 points of slashing, 2 points of thunder, 8 points of radiant. She is surrounded in booming energy.
Oh. A healthy dose of damage.
Mm-hmm. And he's just quiet, white hot rage right now.
You see, she looks a little bit concerned.
Good.
Little bit.
Good.
Good.
She is going to add a legendary action strike against Sariel.
Good. Get me.
That's a 19 to hit.
Yep.
So instead of dealing damage, she's going to grapple you.
Okay.
So she just lunges forward and grabs Sariel and pulls her into her embrace the way she was holding Vanden before.
Does this count as a melee attack?
It's still a melee attack, yes.
Cool. She will take 2d8s of cold damage from the fire shield.
Okay.
Ooh, 10. 10 points of cold damage.
Nice.
As the white flames around Sariel just sort of erupt around her.
Okay. She most definitely shivers as she pulls you into her arm. She still has you grappled, and she whispers in your ear, "I'm going to take you away from here."
Just you try it.
Hi.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
That was at the end of Cassian's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Vanden.
It's
Vanden.
Vanden's turn.
Vanden, baby, please run.
As if he would.
He got her. He's fucking
Taking
decimated.
advantage of the fact that Cassian is still in the same position, he can flank. He's going to take his first attack. At advantage, thank you. Yeah, so that's 20. He just swings down with the sword to try and strike her in the side and get her off Sariel. It's 12 points of damage. And bonus action, Commander's Strike. Allow Cassian to take a strike as well.
Nice.
You can see that he is flagging weakly. He's just like, Cassian, pick up the slack, would you?
22.
22 most certainly hits.
It does the radiant damage still.
Nice.
7 slashing, 8 radiant.
Nice. Okay. This creature you have caught between you and Sariel in her arms starts to look panicked.
Mm-hmm. Drop her. If you want to keep your head.
That she is going to do. On her legendary action, she releases Sariel and moves without provoking opportunity attacks.
Okay.
She is going to flee 30 feet. Like back towards the villages of the town, and you see they all just back up as they see her moving. Astra, it's your turn. No, it's her turn.
Yeah, that was her.
That was her legendary action. She flees 30 feet. And she's gone.
Oh, bitch!
She just disappears into a small cloud of mist and disperses. You see everyone in the town, like, sort of standing there, shaking, looking up at this fire. With the creatures gone, people suddenly launch into action. They're running over to fill up pails from the well.
Gonna yell at them. Is there anyone in the houses?
They kind of look around at the group of you strangers who have come into their town and just scared off these creatures. And they're like, don't think so.
Then out with the fire.
Yep. Gotta go check on the girl that was, like, taken. Yeah,
She's still where you sort of shoved her away, and she's like,
Are you safe? Are you hurt?
I'm fine.
Okay, go to your mother.
And she just runs. The other one that had been previously cornered, completely out of there. And the village sort of comes together with pails of water and starts throwing them over the burning houses.
Yeah.
You can see it isn't doing much.
We'll join in the same. Like, Sarah's gonna... She still has fire resistance. She's going to run into the houses and close any doors on the inside to stop the fire spreading.
Okay. As you do this,
Like, we'll probably take some damage, but...
you people, the people outside, you see them just
I'll follow in after you just to see if there's anyone else in the other building.
Shut all the doors and windows!
Will do.
shocked and distrusting. You're going to take half a 13, so 6 points of fire damage,
Okay.
both of you, just
Okay.
from being in the proximity of the heat.
That's fine. But like just looking around for
Yeah, making
anyone
sure,
that's
like-
in there or just like
You search, there's no cries, there's no sounds of anyone needing help
Right.
inside.
and do what Sariel said, like windows and doors closed.
Get Vanden to his feet and make sure he's okay.
He is just swaying.
I will let him use me as a
He
support.
just leans on you. You can see
Mhm.
there's like dark circles under his eyes and he
Mhm.
looks significantly weak.
Just hand in his hand like, we'll get you some proper rest after this.
Okay. It probably takes the best part of an hour to put the fires out. And you're joined by some of the robed figures who finally make it across from the Abbey. You see some of them use magic to assist. Other ones just use pails of water.
Using thaumaturgy just to like put out the smaller ones and try and like
Pat pat.
condense them a little bit for the last hour. Like
Thinking about the fact that I can just open a gateway to the ocean as a spell, but I don't want to smash the houses.
Yeah. Goodbye, houses. Eventually, the fire just dampens down. Many of the townsfolk sort of gather together outside now, looking shocked and uncertain, and you hear amongst them people talking about, how did she make it inside? How wasn't she injured? Completely unsure as to how these creatures were stood in the centre of the town, even in the middle of the night. You gather together again once the fire has gone down, and you see some of these robed figures just dealing with the last of it.
Are you okay?
I don't feel great, but I'll be okay.
let's get some of this ointment on you, that's a god.
She'll lean forward and give him a kiss on the forehead. Cure wounds.
Mm-hmm.
I will open up some of this, like this ointment that I bought, and just apply it to his arm.
10 hit points.
.15 hit points,
15.
and that's a dose down.
You see, as you do that, that is, and you would probably feel it with your magic at the same time, as far as his healing can go.
He needs rest.
Yeah. I'll be okay, I think. I'm just...
I need to sleep.
Someone prop him up for a second.
We'll take him between us.
Walk up to one of the robed figures. Excuse me.
Yes,
This is the first time they've breached your walls like this.
yes. Well,
First time in a long time.
first time in a while, yes.
Any idea what a gap in security could be?
I don't know. I really don't. The father is coming from the Abbey and he's going to take a look.
Now?
Yes.
Okay.
And it isn't long before the crowd of townsfolk begin to part again. You see two more figures approach from the direction of the Abbey, a man and a woman. The man is a sort of 6-foot man with blonde hair, a strong jaw and like fine bone structure, wearing black clerical robes embellished with a golden sunburst and a silver moon cycle. He wears a white collar around his neck. He looks to be in...
No.
He is in danger.
We are not immune to hot priests.
He looks to be in his early 20s, although as he gets closer to the group, the tiredness in his eyes gives you the impression he's older than that.
How much older?
It's hard to tell. If there's just a look about him, you get the feeling that he's older despite the fact he looks young. The woman is definitely young, maybe not much older than the girls that you just rescued. She's plain looking, although her skin is as soft as porcelain. Her hair is raven black, long except for a blunt fringe. She wears the same white ornate clerical robe that the other women are wearing. The man arrives and he sees the group of you, speaks quickly and quietly to one of the other robed figures, and approaches.
Father, I presume?
Father Percival Howe,
Cassian.
a pleasure.
Burden to Astra.
Vanden, Astra, nice to meet you.
Sariel of Cyanine.
He sort of freezes up as you say that. You're not quite sure what part of looking at you causes him to tense, but he bows his head respectfully towards you. A pleasure to meet you.
Bitch.
And Vanden, like, vaguely introduces himself. My name is Father Hal, and I'm from the Radiant Abbey. And I've heard about your presence in town already, but I cannot express enough that I'm grateful for your aid here. We all are.
That's okay.
We have a lot more work to do tonight. We need to inspect our borders and make sure there's no breach. Try to determine the method in which they entered.
For now, our friend's injured. Is there somewhere we could stay?
Certainly, there is guest rooms in the Abbey.
Brilliant, thank you. I would be desperately interested to know about any sort of breaches in security, as you seem pretty tight around here.
That's what we're mostly concerned about. I'm not quite sure how this is possible.
Yes, I just mean if you could feed the information back, it would be appreciated. As you can see, we are quite talented in the arcane, and getting rid of creatures.
I can see that. Thank you very, very much. He turns over to the woman next to him and is like, Trinity, if you would please tend to their wounds. And the woman with him bows her head. You see, she doesn't have the sun and moon sigil burned into her forehead. Can I help anybody? Is anybody injured?
Him.
Hold hand forward.
She attempts some divine healing, but there's nothing more she can do for him.
I guess maybe just a night of rest.
I think it's...
If you bring him to the Abbey and he rests, we'll see what we can do for him in the morning. And the rest of you, please. And she will cast Cure Wounds to bring everyone's health back up.
Sure.
I just want to sleep.
For now, if you would like to gather your things, and we can take you back up to the Abbey.
Thank you.
Please. Go back to the cow shed.
Mm-hmm.
Think about things. I guess leave a note for the guy so it's not like the cow ate us in the night.
He was definitely standing
Okay,
outside.
cool.
The whole town was watching.
You didn't
him
just
sign
sleep through it.
Smear some strawberry berries around the cow's mouth.
up. He's standing there just eating a piece of cheese.
Oh god, same. The 8 hit points will be gone now as well.
Yeah, I'm back to my max anyways after a long rest.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Okay. And the father and this girl, Trinity, they wait for you. And with that, they lead you through the town, leaving the town and the rest of the clerical figures to deal with the aftermath of this, and lead you towards the Abbey. You move up through the town, past the town hall and the cemetery that you saw, and here the rough land of dirt and grass extends far beyond the cemetery, maybe another quarter mile, before it drops suddenly off a steep cliff. From that, a wooden bridge extends out maybe another 100 feet over a ravine to an outcrop of rock, upon which sits Sable Abbey in all of its glory. As much a castle as it is a cathedral. The abbey is made of hewn, reddish-tinted stone with a number of square towers and 2 towering spires, topped with golden emblems of the sun and moon. It's adorned with dozens of reticulated windows, and parapets top every wall. The orange tiles of the roof sort of blend in with the colour of the autumnal leaves, even in the darkness. The whole experience of looking at it is quite humbling. This Goliath of a building sat proudly atop a cliff face, as though it were a pedestal, gold studded into the stone in places that glints and catches in the moonlight. The bridge over the ravine is made of decorative wood chevrons with simple solid railings. Gazing down over the edge as you cross it, it drops nearly 200 foot towards a broad and fast-moving river. A staircase winds down from the abbey all along the rock on the other side, disappearing around the side of it out of sight.
Point at the river. See, if we'd gone over the waterfall, we would have been here a lot faster. I'm trying to make a joke, I'm very tired.
Vanden very tiredly.
Thanks.
Approaching the abbey across the wide wooden bridge, you start to notice more and more ornate details on the exterior of the huge building that stick out like a sore thumb compared to the dull black buildings of Sable. The gold that was catching the moonlight before, you now see are various symbols of the sun and moon cycles, studded around the exterior like sentinels overlooking anyone approaching the building. Flanking the double-height door at the front, your entrance is watched by statues of Pelor and Seanine, who extend their hands out in welcome. Engraved into the stone above the doors is a saying: seek always to do justice and correct evil. Suffer so that you will know bliss. May all those who bow to the Radiant Ones find sanctuary in these halls.
I was on board for the first line.
You are led just inside these double doors, and before a second set, you turn and take a smaller side door. They lead you down a long stone corridor and to a couple of simple rooms. They point out to you there is a washroom at the end and 2 rooms with simple beds.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Of course, it's the least that we can do considering how much you've helped us tonight. I would like to extend an invitation to you to join us tomorrow morning at our sermon, and perhaps we can talk more.
A formal introduction. A formal introduction.
Quite right. For now, I will leave you to rest. We have work to do, and you've done plenty. Thank you very much. May the blessings of the Radiant Ones be with you.
And with you.
They turn and they leave you to these 2 simple rooms.
I'm going to sleep.
Yes.
Come on, let's get some more of that ointment on your head.
Van is just going to stumble into one of the rooms to one of the simple beds, and he's just like bats away any help, just curls up in the covers.
I'm going to curl up on the bed opposite, but with my bedroll on top of it.
He just lays there. There are probably 4 beds to 1 room if you want to sleep in one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sort of separated like a dorm room essentially.
We're a package deal.
We are.
And you can lay down and finally get some rest. Sariel and Cassian, you won't be able to have a second long rest, but you can get some sleep.
I'll have a short rest and get my 1 spell slot back.
Oh my god, I can have spell slots again. I can't even do that.
Nope. You lay down to sleep, and you sleep a little way into the morning, and you're woken by the tolling of bells from the abbey itself. And I think that is where we'll end tonight.
Oh! Bleary-eyed to bells.
Oh.
This is not the first time the Dawnbringers have been woken up by bells. Like,
It's not.
no!
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
I
you.
hope you enjoyed your first bloodless encounter. Nothing else.
What is
My
this?
God.
Nothing else. Nothing
It's
else.
a crystal.
Nothing more.
But you turn it like this.
It's a vampire.
Oh, Vanden was, he had less than 20 hit points.
Oh god.
Bad for Vanden.
Bad for Vanden. Bad thing happen if you die like that.
Thank you so much for DMing.
Thank you for DMing.
Thank you guys very much for playing, and thank you very much for watching. If you are enjoying The Raven's Favour, please share it around. We'd love you to share it on social media and tag us, or share it to any of your friends who might be interested in this kind of thing. But until next time, we are nyxrising, and we love you.
Bye.
Bye. Smaller.
Sorry, that was just loose moisturiser on B's hand and it was really bothering me.
I had cleared the spaces next to it, so it was just starting to spread.
Fuck you.
Blessed evening, friends. It's Sariel. Thank you for joining us once again for tonight's adventure. Tune in next week as we enter Sable Abbey and maybe learn some of its secrets. If you want to support the party's adventures, you can do so at patreon.com/nyxrising or grab yourself some merch at lotpstore.com. And special thank yous as always to our executive producers, Alexandra Johnson, Leah Moran, Meghan Charles, Benedict Allen, Adira A, Katie B, Emily Hogarth, Jameson M, Lissa, Sophia Johansson and Caitlin Ferguson. Until next time, may the Moon Mother's grace guide you, and we'll see you on Wednesday.